still in thither. Um, you made your way to Little Oak, based on the recommendation of the unicorn, Lamorna, I think her name was. There's too many names that I didn't create, so it's hard to remember them. Um, you met Will of the Feywild, who was a young boy, leader of the getaway gang.
Not a young boy.
Well, you later discovered that he was potentially not a little boy, uh, and that you don't exactly know what he is, other
Yeah, they
than
never
being
told us
small.
what it was, right? It was kind of like confirmed that there was something off.
Yeah.
Okay.
You didn't know what he was, but you just knew that he wasn't what he appeared to be. Everybody, all the other children that were with the gang did appear to be what they appeared to be. Um, you chose not to go after Scabatha in Loomlurch, instead convincing Little Oak to tell you how to get to. This is where Arvid, you were having this conversation because you were the only one that was potentially able to speak to the treant. Um, convinced him to get you on your way to Yon, which you did, um, where you met up with one of the acrobats from the Witchlight Carnival, um, whose name is Gleam, and her sister and her had been essentially abducted from the carnival, and Gleam was let go, and had her shadow removed, which within the Feywild basically just makes her an outcast and making people not essentially willing to assist her or in any way, and sort of left her as a pariah. Um, you met up with her. You met up with her little companion Dandelion with a big bumblebee. Um, Also, again, I believe Arvid was the only one that was really able to talk to the Dandelion as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of inquired a little bit about the Briganock mine, but chose to that seemed to be a little outside of any of your interests, or you know. So you just decided to be like, all right, okay, well that's what it is. Okay, great, we're moving on. Um, you made your way towards Motherhorn in the north, which is where um, the final hag is living. On your way, you met a group of goats that spoke to you, um, and gave you some cryptic statements of some kind. Um, I put them in the
When the
chat. I'm
moon
just trying to
I
see.
got
obstructs
him.
the sun, creeping Lynn will come undone. Play to her passion, stay on script, a cat, a horn, or a shadow wrecked. The fool's scepter is the key.
So the goats told you that, and then you continued on your way. Again, Gleam is essentially with you and requesting that you assist her in recovering her sister. Um, and once you got up to the sort of pathway leading up to Motherhorn, a self-driving cart, I guess we'll call it, uh, made its way down the hill towards you. Um, pull up to
Showed a little play of everything we've done so far.
yes, and then I was just trying to see what it said, because there was a figure behind it that
And we got like the invitations are like
yes,
something.
Good for one private audience with Endelin Moongrave. No strings attached.
yes. So
Oh yeah, now I remember. We were trying to decide. She knows we're coming. What we're gonna do about it.
right,
Yeah, and then we said, well, we're going to go. There's a good chance that we can find out because we know that she likes plays. Maybe we could get this thing. Like, she will do like a favor for us if we put on a performance for her. There are other performances going on there already. So we were like, well, maybe we'll scope them out. Maybe this acrobat who we're supposed to be helping out can help us there. we got there, none of the NPCs were able to pass an invisible barrier because they don't have the invitations.
Correct. So, reading through those invitations, it doesn't specifically state that you would have to perform anything. It's an invitation to meet with her. So you don't
No strings
necessarily have to
attached.
no string attached, right? So you don't necessarily have to try to do anything to at least speak to her. Whether or not you want to perform or play after you speak to her would be something that you could consider. But um, I will reread what it says as you approach Motherhorn itself, which is looming above you is an ominous gray citadel hewn out of the mountaintop. The path leading up is a winding and precipitous. Wind swirls around its towers, and ravens cluster and caw at its granite nooks. A crooked finger of lightning strikes a metal rod protruding from the topmost spire, and the sound of applause drifts over the citadel's battlements. The mountain path ends in a spiral staircase that climbs 60 feet to a balcony made of weathered gray stone. So you guys were able to go up the staircase, but the Gleam was unable to pass beyond, and there is a big door, which I think I can move you here. Be sort of in the middle of the map here. I don't know if everybody
Yes.
can see because I don't know I don't know if these tokens all have the correct vision on them.
I'm
anymore,
good
but-
with mine.
Yep.
It would be good.
So I don't have Gleam's token there, but she's basically standing over here.
Oh, I thought she wasn't able to get in.
No, she wasn't able to pass basically the line here, so she's able to get up the stairs.
Oh, okay. She could come up, so she just okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's a bit of a concern.
Let's see if they even token for her. They do. It's probably going to be. Oh, it's actually not too big. So Gleam is stuck over here. And you'd already discussed leaving the Amador, who is the dandelion with a sword. And Amador is the one who actually knows how to get to the palace, and so he agreed to show you how to get there if you freed. Gleam's
That's
sister,
right.
which is
Because he's
Glister,
he's
Glister.
like the wannabe hero.
Yes.
Well,
He's
The
convinced not to
Don
go-
Quixote.
Yes, he's
Yes.
the one who delusions of grandeur.
so Griswold is gonna kind of look like it's obvious she can't move past that. Like she's like stuck
Yes.
like a mime.
Correct.
All right. So Griswold's gonna be like, well, if she can't come in, do we want one of us to attempt to find her sister, or do we want to all go to the hag and see if we could? And he kind of looks over at Arvid as he says it. He's like, strike a bargain.
Well,
I believe. Oh, go ahead.
I probably wouldn't strike a bargain with her. But if you want, one of us could probably look around while the rest talk to her.
I believe we had agreed last time that given her apparent knowledge of all of our doings within the Feywild up to this point, that attempting to sneak into her home, even with a distraction in the form of the rest of the group, was not particularly wise.
I
'Cause
think.
the invitations had your names on them, so
Yeah.
she knows who you are.
Yeah. So Griswold's gonna say, well, if we're going in, I clearly, unless I'm mistaken, our main goal is to get the sister out so we can find the castle.
Yes.
So, and he again kind of looks around at everyone and just, well, if we're going in to a place that they're expecting us, I believe we have two options. One is we fight our way in and try to rescue the sister. The other would be we go in, perhaps, as someone said, put on a play, gain a bit of favor, and ask if we could please see the sister and speak with her or help her. But I don't see it as we're going to be able to split up, and perhaps I go and try to free the sister while you all talk to the hag.
I agree that trying to split our forces here makes little sense. If she already knows who we are and where we've been, she'll know if one of us is missing. I also don't particularly care for the idea of fighting our way through.
Yeah, I know. You guys are mood killers.
Gleam would tell you that at least when she was walking, because she was essentially taken through not all of the place, but she was essentially with her sister, and then walked out this front door here, and then basically kicked out. And she could confirm that she at least didn't see a lot of, I guess, what you would consider combatants. That doesn't mean that there aren't any, but she just didn't see very many people that would fit that description.
I think we did ask her a little bit last time. Does she know, like, when she left, did she go upstairs? Did she come downstairs to get to the door? Was she on the same floor? Does she know anything like that?
She was taken through. She knows that the near the entrance is the sort of theater, and there that she was walked through a curtain to get
Towards,
there.
like, the entrance?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Oh, Gleam, that's great. You said that there aren't a lot of soldiers, which means if we do come across one, it's going to be more of a challenge because there should be a good fighter there.
so I was like, I guess.
It's going to be so much fun. I love fighting people with real skill.
I suppose if such a conflict does occur, fewer people would be a little easier to manage and have everyone leave ultimately unharmed.
I don't think waiting much longer is going to be very helpful, but I think we need to decide now. We are either probably, well, again, I think we have two options. We either go in, we walk in with our invitations to speak to the hag, we try to come up with some way to see the sister, or we just go in, ignore everything else, and directly go looking for the sister and try to get her out.
If I
Send
might
the
offer in,
invitations or do a play, and then always fall back to plan B, which is way better.
It's not to a play. It's just for an audience with the hag. It has nothing to do with. We don't have
You
to do
say
anything.
that. I'm not convinced.
the rationale behind the play, if I remember correctly, is that we might be able to do a performance in exchange for the woman's freedom.
Yes.
Yeah, they had those mannequins, remember?
I wonder if we can do a play long enough and distracting enough that some of you might be able to just go in and get her.
It is
Well,
a
I mean, it's a 4
possibility.
people minimum requirement since there were 4 mannequins.
Arvid, we've been relying on you rather heavily, but this is your area. We, it seems like we either go in and try to, by force, not necessarily fighting, but breaking into where the sister is and get her out, or we somewhat have to probably make a deal.
Yeah, hey, so, like, if we do end up doing this play, are we swapping places with those dolls? Or, like, we're not transferring souls into them on accident, are we? Because, like, I'm actually really concerned about this.
We have no more information than you do, Signe.
Well, as it stands, both options are viable. And for me, I know what I'm here to do. Just so depending on what the rest of you decide to do, just changes the path.
My goal is to get the sister out so we could continue on to the castle and hopefully complete our what we came here for.
Agreed.
Yes.
Yeah, no offense, Arvid, but that was just as cryptic as literally everything else we've been given.
Well, hopefully I won't be like that too much longer, but for now, It seems you all have your answer.
And he is Fey, after all, so him being cryptic shouldn't surprise you, since everything else here is.
I just want straight answers.
Right. Well, then
Before
I
we go in,
say yes.
ma'am, your mask, the moon-shaped one. Do you mind if we borrowed that?
For what reason?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but we were informed that this particular hag has something of a phobia relating to the symbolic eclipse. Yes? And your
That's
sister bears a matching mask of the sun?
She does.
Even if you cannot enter by our current means, perhaps something of that could be of use in order to secure an escape if necessary. Bit of superstition, you know.
She just kind of shrugs and takes the mask off and hands it to you.
Callum looks like he's going to stow it on his person and then realizes that he doesn't have any place to put it.
You're bad.
Johan's got a bag of holding,
Bag of holding. Yeah.
which is probably a good place to put it, considering then it
She
wouldn't.
won't see it.
Right.
Yeah. Appreciated. I don't know if it will be of any use, but it's better to be overprepared.
No, whatever it takes to free my sister.
Well, knowing what has happened in this discussion, I say we go in and we attempt to be as unseen as possible and find where she said her sister is. We find the stage, we go through the curtain, and we start to look for the sister. Other than that, I think we just take everything as it comes. But waiting here, if they already know we're here, they're going to be somewhat prepared.
That sounds good. I will try to be as quiet as possible.
I suppose if we are waylaid, we can always use the invitations as an excuse and our own ignorance as to our whereabouts.
That is very smart, actually. And Ragnar, as far as you, if anyone who doesn't have the confidence that they can be quiet, just stay a bit further back and let perhaps myself and Callum and even Arvid go up a bit and wait for one of us to call you forward, so that way we could clear the area first. Not far, maybe 100 feet or so, but just enough that they won't hear you walking.
Okay.
Hey, I'll take any excuse for us to stick together.
All right. Well, let's. Can I go check if the door, first of all, is trapped and then locked?
As you approach the door, the surface assumes the likeness of a skull-faced hag, and in a raspy voice it says, "The Moon Twin is not welcome here. All others may step forward and pass through the black curtain at the entrance hall." And the visage sort of splits down the middle, and the doors swing open, revealing a decorated hallway in which discordant chamber music plays. I will open the door in a second.
Okay. Well, we're gonna kind of turn and be like, guess we're not going to be very unseen.
I mean, obviously, we
was
had
my
invitation.
concern.
As
So-
I'm
Sorry,
looking,
Dean.
can I just? I mean, if you want to just take like my passive investigation or something, it's 16. I just want to actively be scanning for any sort of traps or anything.
You don't see anything.
All right. And is this the curtain in front of us? I'm assuming.
Yes.
All right.
We get to this intersection. Callum looks around. What are these things that I see?
There are stairs leading down to your left.
Okay. What about this thing?
It looks, in general, it looks like a wooden platform embedded in the stone floor, and then there is a iron lever. That's an iron lever on the wall there. You would do a straight do a performance check, I guess.
Oh, good lord, why?
I'll
Just,
guide.
it's mainly just to see how much you know about the theater.
I got a guidance on that.
Yeah, I can do it up to 30 feet now.
Okay, let's see. Performance. Should not be at advantage or anything. So, 13?
With your somewhat limited knowledge, it looks like this is kind of like you would assume like a bit of a backstage area,
Hmm.
and that might be used to like move things up and down.
Gotcha.
And you said that this is a curtain,
That's the
which
curtain
means
that you
I
go
assume
to.
that this is also a curtain.
Yes. You probably can't really see that, but obviously on a 2D map, it's, because the
What
stairs going
is
down.
what is this?
What is what?
I think I'm pretty sure what that means is that this is a bridge we're going over, and in order to get to these stairs, we would have to come down from around this way.
Yep, that's fair.
At least that's how I took it. Like the hyphens mean it's like under this pathway.
Yeah, so you are technically, so the stairs are below you.
Okay.
So you're looking down on the stairs, and you are looking down on that platform to your right.
And these just
How
seem
big of
like
a
regular
drop is that?
torches. Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah,
How
let me,
big of a-
let me see what it says here. Does it say at all? It does not look like it even says anything. But we'll say it is.
it may be like intended to be like a looping structure or something where we
Yeah,
can't
I mean,
technically
it's
see down there.
probably, it's not huge. I mean, I would say it's probably between 6 and 8 feet off the ground.
Alright.
Actually, that's
It's
a good
not
point. Maybe the solid lines are actually walls. We can't even see
That's,
down there. Who
yeah,
knows?
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Is that the? I mean, if it is, then wizards or Roll20
Oh,
messed up on the
gotcha.
the
Well,
dynamic lighting.
you wouldn't be able to put lighting there because then when we were at that floor, you wouldn't be able to see through it. So, but anyway,
Yeah.
whatever the case.
All right. I mean, Griswold is just going to.
I will say this: it actually makes sense that you would be above. If this is, if we're considering this to be backstage, like Mike said, I mean, it makes sense to that the other direction over here would be making this backstage. So it is. I mean, I can see both ways. I can see this as saying that we're not supposed to see that, but either way, we'll say that it's just an overhang and you can see it.
But yeah, as we're going, Griswold is going to kind of turn and just say, "Well, Signe, since we're not being extremely quiet and they're perhaps expecting us on the other side of the curtain, feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Just
about
please
time.
do not rush anyone." It,
Do you think maybe we should explore these lower areas?
I think the door just talked to us and they know we're here. The longer we wait, the more suspicious it is.
I was under the impression we already knew that they knew we were here.
Yeah, I say
Yes,
we go
but
look for props. Yeah, how far down is it?
He said like 8 or so feet.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna like climb over the side, like grab the edge with my hands and just drop down.
If
And
Signe is, Callum will do the same on the other side.
Griswold kind of looks at Ragnar and just, this is going splendidly.
Do I go Team Signe or Team Arvid?
Oh, you wound me, sister. Nah, I'm
I
just
guess-
kidding. You can pick whoever you want.
I guess I'll go Team Arvid. I can help speed
Griswold is just kind of.
to.
I'm gonna poke my head over and just. We're not following you, and just keep going.
Oh, my
Oh,
broken heart.
Odo. Signe, should I stay or should I go?
You should go. You know what you're best at.
Okay, good luck.
Love you too.
I
Bye.
want to split the party, but we're gonna just split the party.
And you're sure you want to be separate from them?
As much as I like to dote on her, she's actually pretty competent. I do accidentally insult her by being overbearing sometimes.
No offense meant, Signe, but I believe you are a military commander of some sort, yes?
Yeah, not great, but we all have things that we need to improve on.
And you believe splitting our forces here is a wise decision?
Not necessarily, but that oddly helpful goat said the scepter is a key, which means it might be a prop.
Possibly.
So, for Arvid and the rest of you, you have entered the amphitheater, which is an open-air amphitheater and carved from the slope of the mountaintop. You can see that there are short, cloaked figures sitting on tiered stone benches that are facing the stage. Enclosing the stage are 10-foot-high stone walls, above which you can see a stormy sky in the distance. A team of masked goblins is preparing the stage for a play, while costumed actors huddle in the wings and recite their lines. Lighting is provided by an intricate overhead contraption upon which several more masked goblins are perched. You can hear the sounds of chains clanking and gears turning coming from somewhere under the mountaintop.
Hello? Can you point us in the way of the host?
So you're asking the actors on stage?
I'm asking anyone up here.
So this little goblin will hop down and tell you to go up the basically point you to go up these stairs over here, and someone will guide you.
Thank you very much. Right, the way.
Does there happen to be anything in this box? Or is it a pillar?
That's the stage I was looking at earlier.
Oh, okay.
It's a wooden.
Yeah, I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just a wooden platform that's embedded in the floor. And then there's that iron lever.
It's big, I'll give you that.
And then you guys are where they just were.
Yeah.
So
Excuse me, do you know what our host is?
and this one will step forward and say, "Do you have an invitation? You're in a library, by the way."
Well, I assume one of us has the invitation.
Well, you all have
of us have
individual
individual
invitations,
ones.
And then, yes, I shall show the invitation.
Ragna will do the same.
So as you were entering in here, the terribly boring map that they created says this magnificent hall is lined with stone bookshelves housing a library of leather-bound tomes. 3 elderly, bespectacled goblins climb ladders to fetch books for 3 slender, cloaked figures who are reading while seated in overstuffed armchairs. So it was one of them that was reading that got up and greeted you. So give me just a second here, because this is again one of the split maps. So I got to figure out where they will take you to get where you need to go. Alrighty, so this is gonna be weird. Callum and Signa, are you guys just hanging out?
I'm just waiting for Signet to move because I would like to, having seen some of them on that map and knowing that we're supposed to be split, Callum would be doubling back.
Why are you coming back here?
Did you not see that we were rejoining the group? I thought you wanted to be separated to search around.
Well, yeah, but we kind of have to be out there where all the stuff is, right?
There's another route this way, the one that you started down.
That's fair. Jump back up.
No,
Oh no,
that's
that's right, the
that's an
other way.
underneath. Yes.
Oh no, I've been looking at electrical maps too long. I'm looking for the loopies. Oh,
Given
this
that
is
this
dark.
is a curtain, Callum would listen at it, try to peek under it, see if there's any signs of someone on the other side.
Okay, make a perception check.
That I can do. Perception.
You don't hear anything.
In that case, very quietly, he's going to just brush aside that curtain and try to slip into the room and get a peek.
Looks like a prop room from what you can tell just at a quick glance.
Hey, what's in there?
Looks like more backstage props for the plays.
Perfect.
There's a fork here as well.
I'd like to start investigating for anything that looks like a stick or a scepter.
Please do so quietly.
Fine.
Okay, do an investigation check.
Of course. I'm not having much luck.
You find a chest full of powdered wigs, each one with a bunch of spiders on them. Harmless little spiders, not jump out and kill you spiders.
While Signe is looking through props, Callum would be listening at this curtain doing the same deal.
You hear your friends talking to somebody about an invitation.
Interesting. All right. As long as he can hear them, he would also check down this other corridor in here as well, just to see if he can tell where that's going.
You
It looks
might
like
be, yeah, you might another curtain. You might be able to
Yeah.
hear a little bit of muffled words, but you don't get the impression that there's anything directly behind the curtain. Like it doesn't sound that close.
All right. Well, while Signe's still looking, he'd at least peek in, see if he can get a look at this room as well. Still trying to be stealthy.
For this, I'll say if you're just trying to peek in, you can see that it looks like a dressing room, and you can see what appears to be like a bugbear standing in front of a mirror.
Okay. So they're right in that room there. Any other entrances, exits from there I can see?
You can see another curtain to the north.
Right. Well, he would abandon that then if there's someone there. Come back and just... There is someone in the next room over. I don't know how long they'll be. Sounds like our companions are to the north here. You're the one who wanted to split off like this. What's the plan?
Well, I mean, could you help me give a look in here? I'm honestly not doing a great job.
Sure. Callum will also try to find something of interest.
Remember, Fool's scepter, so it could be a stick. You know, doesn't necessarily have to look like a scepter. Just something that could possibly pass.
You find a big prop, 3-foot wide mouse trap, and you see a parasol topped with a copper weather vane. No scepter.
Something tells me that the Fool's Scepter, given its significance, will likely not be stowed away in a prop room.
Hey, it seems like something a foolish person would do.
And you can hear now your friends are being taken away, so you guys can follow this token.
Want to follow them as they're being taken away, or you want to keep going this
Wow.
way?
He's fat.
Yep.
That's your decision. You're the one who wanted to break away.
It's happening again. He's stretching. All right, so there are stairs where he's going right now. They go up, so I'll have to move your tokens when you.
Well, I think I want to go down that itty bitty hallway.
That leads to a dressing room with a bugbear in it.
Oh, fair enough. I guess the way we go.
So everybody else is, it's going to show it to all of you, but this is where you all are now.
No, we don't have dynamic lighting on there. We don't have vision. I can't see it still.
It's a mystery.
I'm still
the
chilling in the amphitheater.
Where are you?
I was with the group. I'm in the middle of the
Oh.
amphitheater now. Where'd everyone go? I've run out screaming about ghosts.
Now you're up here.
Okay.
I suppose since we hear our friends being led off from this room, does it sound like there are still people in that room?
Yes.
It sounds like no matter which direction we go, we're spotted.
I mean, I wasn't super worried about getting spotted.
Do we try to rejoin the others then?
Yeah.
All right.
Besides, you seem a little too anxious.
Anxious
Starting to
isn't quite
think
the word
Will is
for
running
it.
off on you.
Anxious isn't quite the word for it. More exasperated.
Do
And
I do that to you?
Callum will open up this curtain. Just step through, not try to be sneaky anymore. I assume the goblins see us.
Yes.
Okay. Pardon, we were separated from the others we came with. Wouldn't happen to know where they are, would you?
One of them sort of sighs and up the stairs, and I'll sort of give you that direction, and I will just assume that you all get directions, and then rather than making you follow the token, I'm just going to move you guys up to where they are.
Okay.
Thank you.
Doo-doo-doo. Here we go. And the goblin is with you. Will tell you to wait in the room adjacent here, which is the orrery. Just wait here, and the mistress will be down shortly.
Hey, that's a cool whatchamacallit. What is it?
And then if you're asking
Oh,
him, he
yeah.
just walks away.
Aw,
He
come
walks
on.
away. Anybody can do a general intelligence check if you'd like to determine what that actually is.
Oh, I recognize this thing. It's a thing.
Well, that's a doodad if I ever saw one.
That was the wrong one.
It
Seems
whirls
very
and
pretty.
taps.
Oh, I agree. Hey, do you think if Dad gets out of a situation in one piece that we could get one of these built in the house?
I suppose it depends on what it does.
That's fair.
Arvid, you probably have a general idea that it is an orrery. So this is the description that you see as you enter into this room. This cylindrical chamber houses a whirring contraption bolted to a revolving metal disc that serves as its base. There are metal spheres and sickles attached to the ends of long metal arms that sweep back and forth, clicking loudly and rhythmically like the hands of a giant metronome. The apparatus is inlaid with characters from strange alphabets, and smoky wisps in the shapes of letters rise from the contraption as it revolves. The whole device hums and crackles with lightning. And rising from the middle of the mechanism is an 80-foot tall copper pole made of 8 10-foot long lightning rods attached end to end. It extends upward past a ring shaped gallery that forms the chamber's upper level through a hole in the 50-foot high domed ceiling. Three goblins wearing overalls and tinted goggles use brooms to sweep the floor, seemingly untroubled by the noise. You all can also just do a quick perception check as well.
Oh yeah, my low rolls.
Kellum and Arvid, you both can see up above. There does appear to be sort of a ringed balcony that's going around, and you both catch a glimpse of what you assume to be Andalyn Moongrave. And she looks creepy as fuck. Um, she does not look like any hag that you would be familiar with. She doesn't look like Bavlorna, who looked kind of like a weird demented frog. This I mean, she looks creepy, and she's kind of shadowed because you can't see a huge or a very clear image of what she would look like up close, but she looks spooky, and she kind of moves away. She kind of looks like she steps back a little bit from the balcony, and then so you lose sight of her.
Well, it seems as though we've gotten our audience.
I also say real quick. So those stairs that you used to come up, they also continued to go up as well. So the spiral staircase goes all the way up.
Poking around downstairs, we found a prop room, changing chamber, but nothing of particular note. Unless they've got prison cells hidden behind the changing room. I don't think the first floor is where our missing person is located.
It appears it was mostly for the theater, and not much utility besides that.
Was there any stairs going further down?
Not that we saw, though again, it's possible that there were others elsewhere. We entered the same room, the library, and were just directed to follow you from there. That was as far as we could split before being spotted.
Okay.
So
Well,
after a few moments of you guys standing around, Endolin sort of just appears out of thin air to the up here to the northern part of the room here.
Well, that's
And,
weird.
And I will show you what she looks like.
Okay, actually, that's pretty fucking cool.
That is awesome and horrifying.
Yeah, so she's got a bit of a different look than her sisters here.
Freaky. Pulling the strings. Signe, be careful.
What?
So she is described as
No, Signe.
Endolin's emaciated form is hidden under the layers of her elaborate costume. Part dress, part mechanical theater, the outfit makes her look frighteningly tall. She has like a theater
Oh, we
curtain
see
sort
it.
of veil.
We
Um,
see it.
Yeah, so she is creepy, and she appears, um, and in a sort of that you recognize that the voice of the door was essentially mimicking her voice, um, and she just says, "Welcome. I'm glad you accepted my invitation." Also, just as a quick one, because I liked it, and Rob, you missed it. Endolin, also known as Creeping Lynn and the Bitter End, which is, I think, that's
There was
the
one
Bitter
other
End.
one.
Yeah, I don't remember what the other one is now.
There's like
but
unhappy endings or something.
yeah, yeah, I can't remember what it is. I think I posted it in the chat, but I just love when
Yep. Known as the Bitter End, Creeping Lynn, and the Dame of Unhappy Endings.
yes. I love those little titles. Like, so it was like dragons, because dragons usually have, cool names like that too.
Hey, thanks for having us. So, we heard you have a bunch of aliases. Do you have a name you prefer to go by?
You can call me Endolin.
Yeah, I like that. Nice to meet you.
And she just sort of goes, "Is it?"
So far.
So, what brings you to Yawn?
Griswold's going to kind of look around at everyone and just, well, we happened to, I guess, rather accidentally find a portal at the carnival. We ended up in the Feywild and have been searching around for ways back home.
She just kind of looks at you a little. You'll find no way home here.
Okay. Then might you want to inform us why you offered an invitation?
Well, you're a bit of a curiosity, aren't you? And she looks at Arvid. Aside from that one, none of you do belong here, and I do like to collect things.
Hmm. I'm not really meant to be kept on a shelf. I'm more of a for-use toy.
I'm sure I can find a use for you.
Yeah, I'm also on a bit of a mission to save some sisters.
Hmm. Sisters are rather
Griswold kind of
troublesome, aren't
just
they?
face palms.
Oh, yes, we were looking for the sun sister.
Now Callum also.
Baseballs.
Sisters!
Before this point, he was like, "Oh, okay, we can play this off. We're looking to save their sister."
Yeah, honestly, Arvid's just keeping quiet and just watching this unfold.
Well, the Sun Sister belongs to me.
Slavery is not cool.
It's not slavery.
It totally is. If you say you own someone, that's slavery.
Well, I think that she was rather just put on a shelf, as it were. Maybe doll more than slavery, captive.
Captive seems a more appropriate word, yes.
Kept here for my protection. She has her own room. She's fine.
Can we meet her?
No.
Yeah, why don't you just kick her out and let her rejoin the circus? They don't even want to be here. They want to be out making money in the mortal world.
I don't really care what they want. I only care what I want. What is it that
Clearly.
you want?
Do you have really good medicine? Like
I don't.
almost raise the dead kind of medicine.
Such things can
Almost.
be created, but that's not my area of interest.
All right, I guess so. You just keep moving through.
Well, this was
So-
rather disappointing. If you all will just please leave, that will be.
Yeah, I agree. This was underwhelming. It's just too bad. You seem to have a lot of cool stuff here.
Signe, I don't know where you're going with this.
I'm going out the door.
At that,
It is
she
this
looks
way,
at
right?
Arvid.
How about we make a trade?
What do you propose?
Well, we would like the Sun Sister. What would be the cost? We could put on a performance.
A singular performance is not quite enough payment for something such as that.
It would be quite the performance.
She seems skeptical.
At that, Ragna will use her second use of her charm of the monarch and make her butterfly wings appear and be like, I assure you, we can put on quite the performance for you. She's got wings now.
I accidentally closed her character sheet. Hold on. Do a persuasion check.
And I will guide.
And which is +5.
Indeed.
Oh, it is a lot.
So wait, so far it's 32 plus
Oh, I want to.
plus a d4.
What is it? Okay, 33.
What is an opposing persuasion roll?
That is a
well,
very good question.
I'm trying to, because normally, I guess if you're on, like, we're not trying to deceive her or anything, right? So
Yeah, I'm
uh,
pretty sure like the rules for it are like based on how hostile the NPC is towards you, the DC is adjusted and what you're asking them to do. And there's like a whole like table hidden away somewhere that's completely unrelated to a character stat block.
hold
I
on.
was trying to what it actually is because it's a contested check. Persuasion. I'm trying to determine if it's best against her charisma or her wisdom.
Wouldn't it be insight?
That's
Well,
what I'm
actually,
thinking.
no. That would kind of like be for deception, though, right?
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, wisdom being insight, being like, are you
Well-
telling the truth? Are you lying to me? Like, that type of thing.
Well, so they're also saying like insight, I guess, is like insight into their intentions kind of thing. Like, yeah, I'm seeing a couple. Basically, I see like wisdom, charisma, or insight.
I mean, her charisma is higher than her wisdom, but I don't
Maybe
think
a
she's gonna
saving
beat
throw.
She's not
I
going to
don't know.
beat a 30 anything. So
33.
Like I said, I know there is like a table for this somewhere in the DMG. I can look for it, but it will take me a while.
it's not a big deal. Like I said, it doesn't really matter in this instance because she was going to fail regardless of what we roll. She doesn't have the stats to beat a 33 no matter what I choose.
To be fair, that's a ridiculously fucking high number.
Yeah. She has a 17 charisma. She's just not gonna beat. She's just not gonna. And she has a 10 wisdom, so she's not gonna beat a 33. So she says, kind of a little bit intrigued, but maybe a little exasperated too. And she says, "Well, if you're that sure you can perform something that spectacular, I suppose there's no harm in letting you try. But I will determine if the performance is worthy of such a trade."
Ragna will let down like a bow as she's letting herself hover a little bit with her wings.
Do you have a specific play you'd like to see? Or should we surprise you?
Let me see, because there's a whole thing for this. And she says, "Well, I'll let you decide." And then, and she says, "Go and meet Stage Fright. He'll take it from there." And she vanishes again. You assume probably up back to the balcony. So you know where the stage is, so I will move you guys back there so that you don't have to. Well, obviously you can't move yourselves anyway, so I'm gonna move you all into a group here.
Well, I mean, if he just leaves us alone. Do we want to try to just wander around?
I
Get
mean,
a
she
better
can
lay
probably
of the
still
land?
see you. She's above you, essentially, if you're assuming she. I
True.
mean, you can do a perception check if you want to look to see if you can see her up there.
I'll throw out
I'm
perception.
floating the idea.
Well, I mean, you could probably, at the very least, you could maybe investigate over here, because that is the direction you would be going. And if you go into this hallway, she's probably not going to be able to see you, because the balcony is over this, over the circle, essentially. But if you head any other direction to any of the other doors, she's probably going to see what you're doing. And Arvid, you do see her sort of walking around up there.
Well, she is still up there and watching.
So I guess we
mean,
just go.
I was kind of hoping we could leave and then have Will sneak back in and like scope the place out, because if we just attack her here, there is a lot of escape routes.
I would reiterate that she's had eyes on us the entire time we've been in the Feywild. I don't think there's any sneaking in.
I know.
I guess now we have a performance to do. What exactly should we perform?
There should be a script laying around somewhere.
Well,
Wasn't there?
the library.
Oh yeah, we can find something there.
Makes sense
But
to
she told you
me.
to go talk to Stage Fright.
Yes.
Is it? Am I the only one who remembers the goats telling us to play? What needs to be done in it?
There was something.
Her passions: stay on
the
script,
cat,
a cat,
the
a horn, or shadow ripped.
So we
Is
need to
there some
find a
story,
play
maybe?
that goes with those.
Matt, with my experience of being in the Feywild, is there a play that fits those requirements?
What were the requirements again?
A cat, a horn, a shadow ripped.
Nothing jumps out at you specifically.
I mean, the Shadow Rip sounds like the sister, but
Mm-hmm.
we have a horn. We just need a cat.
Oh,
And I
Arvid.
look to Arvid.
I can quite literally turn into a cat.
So, are you guys gonna go down and find the
Yep.
goblin?
Yeah.
So I'll just move you back to the theater rather than making you go through the.
is quite the interesting arrangement of the lights here.
Interestingly, they also tell you to go and meet stage fright, and I don't see that they actually included stage fright in any of the tokens. Isn't that convenient? So, this is a raised stage for anyone who's interested in what this big circle is over here. So we're
I'm
gonna have
interested
this
in
guy.
the moon.
This guy will be stage fright.
Hello, we're here to perform a play.
Yes, I was told. I'm the master of ceremonies, stage fright. You can see that he is wearing a jester costume, and he has a clownish scepter in his hand, and he kind of clicks it on the ground, like in a sort of performance type of thing, and says, "To impress the dame of unhappy endings, you will need to perform a tragedy, something gruesome, depressing, and darkly humorous. And I have just the play." And he pulls out this rolled up script and says, "Normally we would have several hours to prepare, but alas, time is of the essence. Since you don't have time to memorize all the lines, we'll need to improvise." And he sort of just takes the script and tosses it over his shoulder and says, "Worry not, I'll feed you lines from the wings if you get stuck." And all of you need to roll a d8.
Can I try to grab that script and look at it?
You can. Ragnar, roll again. There can't be any doubles. No,
The
you still got
second.
no, still again. Okay. So I think that's everybody.
Trying to
with a
steal my
different
part.
roll. Yes, because that's exactly what you're rolling for is your part. Griswold, you are playing the mean-spirited servant.
Well, not far off.
Yeah, I'm playing myself.
Yes. Oh, this is great. Signe, you are playing the cowardly noble.
Oh,
Callum, you are playing the nervous apothecary.
So be it.
Johan, you are playing the failed magician. Arvid, you are playing the high and mighty princess.
Awesome.
And Ragna,
Not a
you are
horse.
the pretty princess, the high and
Yep.
mighty princess. And Ragna is playing the drunken satyr. So, he will lead you all over to the places you've actually already been. He's going to take you over to the. I'll just move everybody again. He's going to move you all over to the prop room, which is over here. So, actually, he was going to take you over a little bit further to the place that Callum looked at previously. So, again, I'll move you guys. so you guys-
Ragna, see if you can convince him to let us borrow the scepter for the play.
Okay.
So you are in the like performers lounge, essentially backstage with the performers, and you can see that there are some others that are. There will be two others that will participate with you in this play. One will be playing the um, foolish minstrel, and another will be playing an honorable knight risen from the dead. He says, "Find whatever you can to make use of in this mess. You've got 20 minutes to get into costume and select the props that are appropriate for each of your roles, and just let me know when you're ready. Again, 20 minutes."
Excuse me, stage fright. I believe your scepter would be of great use to our lovely princess to show her regality.
Yes, I would agree.
Persuasion check.
And guidance.
+5 plus 4.
He's just a goblin, guys. Come on, leave him alone.
We're picking on people with persuasion.
Yeah, we're just bullying them.
I'm like, fine. And he just hands it to Arvid. Just hurry up.
Thank you, Sir Stage Fright.
And he just sort of goes out into the little antechamber here while you guys prepare.
Do satyrs have horns?
And
And I
little
pull out-
ones.
Yeah,
I
and they
pull out
have-
the unicorn horn for Ragna. Maybe
I-
make this part of the costume.
Perhaps we should go check the prop room.
Yes, there,
Yeah.
or there might be a costume somewhere in here. I don't want to use such an important horn, and
Yeah, the costumes are in the room that you're in now, and then like more of like the actual props are in the room that you were in before.
I'll try to find a noble outfit that seems to fit more like a macabre setting.
Do we... did Johan pick up the script?
Yeah,
I
you
was
would've.
trying to.
Yeah, you would have gotten it.
Could I take a quick glance through the script for any special effects?
Yep.
Intelligence check?
It's probably just like an investigation check.
Advantage because of racial? 14.
You do see that there might be a little bit of stuff in there, but it's all of the effects would be done by not by the actors, but by like the backstage people, the workers and stuff.
Okay.
So
Would there be... Probably isn't, but I'm going to try and ask for it anyway. A scene where there is lightning.
we'll roll a d8. We'll actually determine which play you're doing.
Because if so, I have Call Lightning prepared.
So the play that is in your hand is called An Island of Death in an Ocean of Tears. And a quick sort of summary as you're looking at it. The play is about explorers arriving on an island littered with bones, and it takes you years to realize that you're all already dead.
Sounds like Lost.
Awesome.
Kind of. We have to go back.
Still doesn't change the fact, can I have lightning?
I mean, if you have it prepared, sure. I mean, there's nothing in the play that specifically calls for it, though.
We
Understood.
do you think we can convince them to let the sister perform with us?
Seems unlikely. She's been specifically... Oh, you mean the one that's been captured?
Yes.
Also seems unlikely, though less so than what I initially thought you meant. Though certainly I didn't imagine that simply talking to the fool would lead him to relinquish his scepter, so perhaps I'm mistaken.
Well, in the meantime, let's prepare. I will rummage for an outfit and some magician props.
Yeah, let's go costume diving.
yay!
Montage.
Well, I've already got the fantastic hair, I just need the heels and a dress.
Yeah, so you guys can find most of the stuff that you're looking for. It's not great, but it's pretty. Uh, it's passable. Um,
And all these other people in here are. You said there were other actors. Are these them, or are these just random people?
yeah, 2 of them will be joining you.
Okay.
Do you even know acrobatics?
Oh, man.
No, the one of the random actors. Maybe we could
Up 5.
embarrass one of them enough to get the real one here, the sister.
And
We
they
need
would all look at you and be like,
acrobatics.
the parts they're playing are the minstrel and the honorable knight risen from the dead, and they're like, we don't need acrobatics for this role. Kind of looks at you like you're an idiot.
It would be a shame if they all had a cat allergy and I summoned a cat.
I'll just look at you. Stage fright. Who are these people?
You're all being a bit forceful on this. Perhaps we should do as we were recommended and stay on script.
I think that's fine.
In
And
any case.
she'll adjust the horns, I guess she found for herself.
In any case, we should go see through the props as well while we have time. Practice our lines, since we have them, surprisingly.
I wouldn't mind finding a flask. That's what drunkards use, right?
Or a straight bottle. Or if you're strong enough, you just bring the keg with you.
Griswold just pulls out a flask and throws it over to Ragna.
She catches it.
It is pretty much bone dry. He has one. He just never really used it.
I could put water in this to pretend to drink all the time. I don't
Oh.
think being drunk would be a good idea.
You are acting after all. Why not?
Yeah. It's a good idea.
Okay. And she will kind of awkwardly go over to one of the women and just be like, can I get some water, please?
And she'll point over to the table over here, and there's like a pitcher of water.
Thank you. And she will pour some in the flask.
Yeah.
Take a little drink, kind of wince a bit because at this point it's probably hasn't been washed out in a while.
It was never used. Like he never used it. Period.
Oh, okay. That's
I
probably
literally
fine.
I bought it at the beginning of the campaign. I've never touched it. So
Yeah. With high heels and dress, I'm gonna go look for props.
yeah, was there anyone in like the prop room?
Callum will accompany him.
There is not anyone in there now.
Because Griswold is kind of looking for somewhere where they're all going to be not surrounded by other people.
What does the play have the magician doing per se?
Well, here's the thing, right? So this is the way that this is set up, and this is specifically how it is defined in the module is that the players must ad lib a tragedy. What their characters say and do is up to you for the most part. So the only thing is that like you guys can say and do whatever you want. There isn't anything specific about this. There is actually supposed to be roll tables that stage fright can feed to you if you don't know what they are, but I'm just going through it right now, and Roll20 it's broken. So it's one of the auto roll tables. It's not actually like a table that is like listed in a box in the module. It's actually
Okay.
one of the macros, and it doesn't friggin' work because it says no table found with that name. It's in here, but when you click on it, nothing happens. So therefore, I'm going to skip that part, and we're just going to have you guys do. You guys can ad lib as you like, and then we'll just do performance checks for them.
All right, one last time, just like another quick, like 10-second rundown of what like the plot was.
weren't we all survivors of some like sunken ship that washed up on an island with a bunch of bones?
Yeah, it's you just end up on an island with a bunch of bones, and it takes you many years. It's called here it's easier than I'll just put it in.
Maybe one of us can take a fake dagger, pretend to kill all the others. That seems tragic.
Lord of the Flies.
Or I suppose learning that we're all dead would also be tragic.
That does seem to be the gist of the script.
All right. When we're in this room looking around, Matt, is there anyone around here that could is listening in on us or anything watching us?
Nope.
All right. As we're all alone, Griswold kind of just grabs everyone and just says, "Right. Well, we're doing this, but worst case scenario, if shit goes down, we probably have to fight our way out." And he just kind of says it very matter of factly, and just so whatever costume, whatever part, whatever anything, make sure you are armed.
Oh, I'm not taking my sword off me.
I mean, we did find that there's a passage almost directly from the stage to the exit, but I imagine we'll need to recover our missing person first before we could leave.
Agreed. But one way or another, we cannot be caught unready.
I still have that potion of giant strength.
Which could be very helpful.
Yeah, I mean, if we need to literally rip this place apart brick by brick.
And then after he says that, and he says, "Right, as far as the tragedy part, well, we could combine the both. Finding out everyone is dead and someone killing each other. So perhaps a dagger, and I'll grab Caleb, and I'll push my dagger through the side, how kids do it when they're playing with swords and they stick it between their arm and their chest or something. And I'll just say, well, the knife goes straight through you and you don't feel it, you don't die. We all find out we're dead. Tragedy.
I suppose that's doable.
That makes sense.
Be honest up front, I'm not the most skilled of performers in this particular area.
I can then stab anyone else. Anyone could stab anyone else.
Stab me. I can pretend.
I'm a cowardly noble, so I mean, if we come up with
Well-
a situation, I'm gonna run away after commanding you
well-
guys to fight each other.
Well, actually, if we're thinking about it, if I'm the servant who is quite angry about everything, it would probably make more sense for me to kill the noble, yes, rather than a drunkard.
That's
I
true.
suppose
Or I
that's
could
true.
be annoying you, maybe, acting as a drunkard.
I mean, I could command you to kill her, and then that's just an order too far, and in blind rage, you get me instead, and I run away like a little bitch.
Or you could just be annoyed at her or at the noble for acting so scared and crying all the time.
We're going to be going with improv, so I will find a reason to stab someone.
Okay.
Lovely.
Arvid, and he kind of looks at him with a half grin on his face for the first time in a very long time. He goes, "I don't know if I could stab someone so beautiful."
Well, I understand. But I
You
can do
have-
special effects if needed.
Regna's gonna go find a fan for Arvid so he can keep fanning himself all prettily.
So I just did a quick search and I was able to find the actual things that you would potentially cut out from the book, the physical book for the lines. So I can't roll on the table, but I will roll. I obviously have dice right in front of me, so I will roll, and then so I do actually have the lines. I just can't do the macro. So
Okay.
so basically what it is that you guys, I mean the gist of this, because I mean this is not explained particularly well,
Good boy.
is that you guys
Good boy.
need to ad lib your own lines. and you need to keep the play moving. So the more time that you're not doing anything, you're not saying anything, the worse off your performance will be considered. So if you kind of get stuck, you can I'll just say that if you're not sure what to do, just say I'm going to look at stage fright, and then he'll feed you a line. And the big thing is that you all have to participate in some way or another.
Right.
What? Well,
You're able to move around on stage. You're able to, so like Rob, if Arvid wants to just do random weird spells, he can do so.
I do have one other quick question. Does it say, like, am I the servant of the noble? Or does it say, am I the servant of the princess? Or is it just like, these are the characters? It doesn't have any correlations between them.
For the most part, that's what it is. But yeah, so you guys can determine if you want to be the servant of the mean-spirited servant of the high priestess, high and mighty princess.
Okay.
And so you guys are now actually being sort of ushered along with the other two. Like, the show's about to start. You've got like 10 minutes for the show to start, so you all need to get out on the stage.
Regna will just quickly see if she can grab a pan flute on her way out.
Sure.
Pan flute. That's what satyrs play.
I'm going to
Think
summon
so?
a cat.
Oh. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm going to use a use of my wild companion, which is a use of wild shape, and summon a fey cat and take it with me.
A cat, all I can think of is the Cheshire Cat for some reason.
Yeah, it doesn't speak, it just sounds like Motley.
All right.
And this over here, this is not the stage. Clearly, this is something else. The
No,
stage
that's
is
the
up.
that's yeah. So
is
this
the
is
forward,
essentially
yeah.
like the stage, and then there's like a raised bit of stage here that you could perform. But yeah, this is like for the lighting and stuff and all that. So again,
So,
you're
yeah.
you're able to move around the stage, use props, enter and exit scenes as you wish, but you must each of you must contribute. If one of you kills one of the characters, obviously that character wouldn't get any more lines. We talked about killing each other, so
Well, I thought we couldn't kill each other because we're already dead.
well, you guys don't know that yet, right? That's part of the. I mean, there you go. There's the thing. You could try and kill somebody and realize that, like, well, I'm already.
Yeah, that's
We're
what he.
dying,
That's what
Oh, okay.
Griswold was saying. He was saying
Gotcha.
like that could be like the big tragedy at the end. We're all already dead.
Before we get started, can I take a quick break to bring my dog out?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Sounds
back.
good. This is absolutely gonna go perfectly.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It has been. Yeah, no, I'm not happy with the situation.
Griswold may have slight brain damage from how many times he slapped himself.
Well, just be glad you're not the high and mighty princess.
Mm-hmm. I'm just happy I've rolled before Tara did, because then I would have been switching off of the playing myself.
A lot of people got surprisingly close to what their character actually is.
Except Signe got the exact opposite. Well, I guess she is a noble in character and in like her real character, so I guess it's just the brave versus scared part.
Hey, Rob, are you up to date on Critical Role?
I am.
That was a pretty cool reveal they did for I'm avoiding spoilers for one of those characters. and the origins of said character.
Oh yeah, I know you're on about now. Yeah.
I didn't realize that event actually took place in the first campaign. It's in the cartoon, but I had forgotten that it actually happened in the actual campaign itself.
Yeah, because it happened in the first campaign, and as it was being described to them, it was kind of like, oh shit, and quick, let's move in the game as they were playing it. But yeah, it's a pretty descriptive thing to try and explain to people.
Yeah, but I was like, that's really cool. I mean, I I think that's really. I love those like connections. That was part of the reason that I hated campaign 2 because it felt so removed from campaign 1 that it just felt like it wasn't related at all. At least insofar as to the point that I stopped watching it.
I mean, I struggle a bit watching the third season, not because it's bad, but because I've obviously got this and the Star Trek stuff. It's like it's harder to watch other people's stuff when you're doing it yourself.
Right.
So I've only got so much time I can dedicate to this.
I mean, I usually just have it like I don't. What I usually do is like after this game, like I will watch it up to the first break, and then I'll go to bed, and then usually like on Monday because I'm not subscribed to their channel, I'll watch the rest of it on YouTube. Sometimes I haven't actually watched the second half of last week's episode. This week it's not on. They're doing the Exandria Unlimited one, so it's going back with the what's his face? I only know his real name.
Dorian.
Yeah, Dorian. So I guess his return to Tal'Dorei.
Yeah, I generally just watched all that stuff on ×2.
Yeah.
Or I should say listen.
Well, I mean, because when I listened to campaign 1, I did it while I was at work, and I would usually just skip the combat. I would just skip to the end because it was like nothing bad ever happens to them. What's the end result, you know? So that cut down on the time it took to actually get through 100 and however many episodes. I mean, characters technically did die in campaign 1. They just didn't stay dead.
Hey, where's the fun in that?
And after how Taliesin died last campaign, I doubt they're going to let it happen again.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. It's a
like trust me, I'm part of their fandom, but some of their fandom is a bit too like they're like the K-pop stan type people that they're a bit too obsessed with the characters, and I think they get very, very attached.
I get way too attached. There's definitely I try to avoid any of the actual critters. They're irritating.
I mean, I watch it on Twitch, so I usually just full screen it and stuff like that instead of seeing the chat because.
No, I had it open like in the last game, and all it was were actually rules lawyers. They were just complaining about everything that Matt was doing. That's not how that works. He's doing it wrong, just constantly. So it's if you don't have the people that are just like being obsessive about the characters and shipping all of the characters, you have the idiots like that. They're like, they're doing it wrong. They're doing it wrong. And it's like, it's not your game. They're not doing it wrong. They're doing it the way that they want to do it.
Yeah, it's technically a homebrew campaign, so shut the fuck
all
up.
of it is. Exactly. It's like,
even if it wasn't, the DM still could do whatever the hell he wants.
Well, and the funny thing is, what happened. This is not really a spoiler. Is that I can't remember her name. Laura Bailey's character. She used catapult, and she like picked up like 2 what Matt described as boulders, and then like smashed them together like on an enemy, right? And like everybody in the chat, they were losing their shit. It's like, it can only be 15 pounds. You can't do 2 at a time. And I'm just going off on all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and it was just like, oh my God, shut up. And then what was funny is that like later on when they were kind of talking about it, I think like Laura made mention of that, like, she was talking about something as it relates to that, and then Matt actually mentioned, because like I think one of the other people asked like how big those boulders were or whatever, and she described it, and then Matt even confirms like, yeah, they're only about like 10 to 15 pounds or whatever, but it was just his description made it cool, and then everybody's like, well, that's not how it works. I think it was mainly just because he used the word boulder, and I guess in people's minds boulder is
Has
bigger
to be
than
like a
15
3,000
pounds,
pound rock.
right?
I'm sorry. If someone throws two large rocks at you, you're probably going to say, "Stop throwing fucking boulders at me."
Yeah, I mean, like, but that's the kind of stuff that just is, like, this is why I cannot
I'm
be
on the
involved
part
in any of that.
where one of the again, I don't want to say names or anything, but one of the cast members is not playing right now because something happened, and all I saw in the chat was, "Oh my god, why won't they let him play? Why won't they let?" It's like, shut up.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't think they're saying, "Hey, you can't play with us." I'm pretty sure they're just going along with a story.
yeah. And then what was funny too is I like the fact that the cast actually makes the jokes too. Is that like, they did a close up of something or whatever that they were, it was like a map or something like that, and they were like shuffling papers around, and they like held it up, and they were like, it's ad copy. It's not a script, guys. Because everybody was complaining. Everybody says that it's scripted and that they're not ad libbing all this kind of stuff.
I wouldn't care if it was.
I wouldn't either. I mean, because to my mind, I mean, in some ways, and I've talked to you guys, some of the things that will happen in this game will, for lack of a better term, be scripted, because I talked to you guys about it and said, okay, well, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And how do we make this work, for the character and all that kind of stuff. So like, that's, in some ways you could say that that's scripted, but that's more just about like getting your character to the place that you want them to be, and not like, and that's what they've done as well, because I know Matt talks to all of them about their backstories and where they want to go and all that kind of stuff, and it's more really just like, for those of you that don't know, it's not scripted. You know what I mean? You guys don't know what's going to happen with the characters behind the scenes that I've talked to the other players about. So, but I just want to make sure that everybody is feeling good about the character, getting to do what they want to do, and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you could sort of call that scripted because it is events that are essentially planned to happen. But
And I mean, I've said it in the past to you, and I've said it in my other games. Like, if you need me as a player, like talking to obviously Matt or the other GM, to do something to help a story go along, just message me or ask me to do something. It's like, all right, sure, I'll help the story move along for you.
yeah, I mean, I feel like sometimes it's more impactful to have a player character do that than for me to like shoehorn an NPC in there to like make them do it, because it's like, well, then who cares? It's just some dumb NPC that I made up, right? So yeah.
I am back, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know if you're waiting on me or.
Yeah, I was, but is everybody back?
Yeah.
Okay. So, also, I told you guys weeks and weeks and weeks ago, I do have the soundtrack from the Vox Machina cartoon. I have it all. I just haven't uploaded it to Roll20 yet, so we'll have some new music here that is fitting for our setting, I suppose.
By the way, how many episodes are there currently? I started watching it the other day, and I think I got to 9.
I think there were what, 10?
Something like that.
8?
For the season, or is it still
Yeah.
ongoing?
Yeah,
No,
it's still ongoing.
I think it was
but,
9 or 10.
Yeah, but there's only the first season's done, but there are more. There's at least 2 seasons. So
Yeah, okay, but it ends after, I guess, the Briarwood arc.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, I'm still trying to get people to watch Ranking of Kings.
Sam and I have been watching that.
It's been so cute. Oh, my little heart.
Sam loves it. I'm
Told ya.
unimpressed.
you're hard to please, Shane. So it's.
I am.
I mean, to be fair, I'm also hard to please, but I just love the art style. It's just so, it hits me right in the good feel spot.
All right. So the play is on. And even though it's probably not appropriate for a tragedy, I'm going to put on some taverns music. It's better than just the sort of. It's more of a little, something different to listen to for the play.
And just one last, did they say that the play starts with us on the ship or on the island, supposedly? I'm
The
assuming on the island.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can see that Stage Fright will go out there and sort of introduce the play, saying that, it's a performance of an island of death in the ocean of tears. And you can see up in the rafters, very high up from where you are now, basically like 2 stories up, you can see that balcony that Endolin is watching you from, as well as I'm surprised that they didn't put any, because it's described as having goblins sitting in the stands watching, but they didn't include any tokens, so I guess they just didn't want you to kill them. But there are some goblins that are sitting there watching. They clap for you and everything like that.
Griswold is going to just be laying on the ground looking like he is washed up on a shore.
Callan will follow suit.
And you can see that the first, because you do have 2 performers with you, and one of them, and I'm just going to roll on the table actually, says, "It seems we're in a bit of a pickle."
Regna will take a swig of her flask her flask and just be like, I think it's more than a pickle here.
That's a bit of an understatement. Where exactly are we?
I mean, it's an island. I assume.
Well, I hope one of you has an idea of how to get away from this mess.
I mean, we could attempt to build a raft, but do we even know which way we would go? Surely we would die at sea before getting anywhere substantial.
And even if we could, what would we build it from? I don't see trees or anything really that would be suitable for such a thing. Even the wreckage of our own ship seems to have washed away.
All right.
Griswold will.
Everybody do a performance check real quick.
Oh, yeah, great at these.
Could I have chugged my potion of advantage before coming on stage?
If you want to, sure.
Regna's at 19, because I assume her butterfly wings are still going.
How long did it last?
An hour.
You probably got a little bit more time.
Oh yeah. We got told there was only 20 minutes of prep time, so.
And then it was about 10 minutes, so yeah, it's been about 30 minutes that it took from you to get.
I got a 13.
Hey fellow, are you still alive, or can I commandeer your items?
Griswold will roll over and just kind of, what happened? Where's the ship?
Damn, he's still alive.
He's a bit slow there. Although I would like to leave here before I run out of drink. And she takes another swig.
You should keep that in reserve for I can't do high pitched and accent.
Just do the queen.
Yeah. Well, you should keep that in reserve for higher births.
She'll just give Arvida a glare and then take another swig.
And as they're talking, Griswold will get up. Princess, you're okay.
Of course I am. What would you expect? As he pushes Griswold away.
Kind of just has like the fakest looking smile on his face and just says, very happy you're alive. And he's just gonna kind of look around and start like pretending to scavenge the ground for anything else that got washed up.
Signy's gonna come up. Princess, so glad to see that you were well amongst the shipwreck. Now, why haven't these peasants started building you some sort of shelter?
I do not know, but maybe you could do something about that?
You, drunkard! Why has no shelter been erected for the princess?
Regna will come over, take another swig, and just laugh in the noble's face and be like, I'm pretty sure on a deserted island, we're all equal here.
Nervously look to the princess. Someone like you should know their place.
And where
They
would that
should-
be?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us would like to know. I'm pretty sure we outnumber you at this point.
You would
Serving the
threaten
princess,
us?
clearly.
We should. Listen, we really shouldn't be fighting. We should be working together to try to figure out what's going on here.
Well, we should do it before the weather gets any worse. As he calls down lightning.
Well, I shall go and try to find myself some food, and I will summon my horse and ride off the stage.
I just see a horse appear. I must be drunk already, and she'll just walk over here.
Looking for food might not be a bad idea. After all, it's who knows how long we'll be here.
Hey, if he's got a horse, that means we have a meal.
You, servant.
Grisaldo kind of just go, yes.
Get to it for making shelter.
And he kind of, through like gritted teeth, right away, ma'am. And he'll just go, I don't know if there's any props or anything, but he'll start like putting stuff together if there is in like the shape of like a tent or teepee kind of thing.
I'll take off my cape and try to use it as sun shelter for the princess. Your Highness, if I may.
Of course.
Everybody do another performance check, and then you can hear off to the side. Stage fright kind of like stamps his foot a little bit, and he goes, "It's a tragedy!"
So feed me some lines.
Oh shit.
Well, after a quick go around the area, I can't seem to find anything that we could consider edible. Well, minus you, princess, and I'll try to give you like a not like a cannibalistic look, but like you know, like damn girl, you fine. I want to eat you up kind of look.
Through the mask.
Yes. Signe, if you want a line, this is a good one. Stage fright will say, "Did you speak? I thought 'twas a braying of an ass," is your line.
Did you speak? Thought 'twas but the braying of an ass.
Or the braying of his horse.
Well, you've got no idea who you're messing with, do you? And I will try to make a show of some magic as the magician. And I will cast dancing lights and try to get them to look menacing.
You can probably make them
Like-
like red or something, you know?
Yeah, just like create some ambiance. Maybe form them into, because I think they could take the shape of a person, right? Like a medium-sized creature. Try to make it look fiendish and growl at Signe.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a dive.
Like cast a fireball of dancing lights.
Yeah.
Griswold is
And-
going to step in between these two. And having heard what Stage Fright just said, he'll just go, "Excuse me, sir. Now is not the time." And he'll look toward Arvid and just say, like, not for people to hear, just very, very quietly. He'll say, tragedy, you two fall in love and one of you dies. And he just walks away over towards Ragna.
Ragnar will have drank most of the water in the flask accidentally, try to tip it into her mouth again, realize that she had just finished the flask's water, and then toss it to the side and just yell, "No!" and fall face first into the ground. I cannot live without my drink. Such a tragedy.
Servant.
A little on the nose.
Servant,
Yes, yes.
either bring me something to eat, or we shall have to use you instead.
There's not been much luck on that front yet. I've tried scavenging around all I can find. Bits of bone, perhaps washed up from other wrecks.
Griswold is gonna like kneel over Ragna and grab her by like whatever the back of any sort of like tunic or anything like that, and just kind of like try pulling her to her feet. Like, all right, come on, let's go. You could help me look for some food. I know how to brew a bit of basic ale. If we could find the certain ingredients, you could help me look.
At that, Ragnar will hop up and kind of hop, skip, jump, and stumble to go find anything to make more ale.
Bone.
Alright, what are the
Exit.
two?
Stage bottom.
What are the two state or helpers again? One's a fallen knight.
And the other is a minstrel, a foolish minstrel.
Can you sing us a tune to cheer us up? We're quite down in the dumps at the moment. Could use a bit of uplifting.
I'm gonna roll and see what their line is. This makes no sense, but I'm just gonna have him say it anyway. The minstrel will walk over to you and put her hand on your cheek and say, "Hush, my sweet dumpling."
Did not think madness would set in this soon. We're all going to
about
die
you?
here, aren't we?
Why will no one listen to my orders? And as soon as she finishes, I'm going to call lightning on myself. So I technically need to roll 3d10 damage.
I was gonna say, are you gonna like hit yourself or just hit near yourself?
Oh no, I'm
Pretend
going to full on fucking hit myself.
Oh god.
And I'm going to go down.
The knight, will. Well, I rolled and he said, "But I am your son." But I'm going to use the one below that and say, "Murder! Oh, murder!"
Oh well, at least we now have something to eat.
Princess! Princess! Princess, no! Why?
Wait, are you actually like down or?
Oh no.
Okay. I will go and start poking what I think to be the body. What? Still alive? I'll like roll her over.
There's a grin on his face until he realizes he needs to stop smiling. How can this be?
Griswold will come in and he'll just be like, Princess, and he points over his shoulder at the thing he's been making. He says, your shelter is already there.
What's this taking you so long?
It's been standing for 15 minutes.
Well, you should have informed me sooner, as he just slaps Griswold.
Oh,
Right. Well,
I thought you were gone from this world. Lightning struck you.
right. Well, me and the drunk had a bit of a luck. If you wish to just go sit down in the shelter, or at least by the fire, we'll prepare a bit of food for you.
About time.
And
Princess, allow me to escort you.
Thank you.
like I'll wave over the drunkard, and I'll wave over to Callum's character.
All right. Yes. Something I can help you with.
And I'll just say loudly enough for everyone to hear, like including the two that over there. Oh yes, you were looking for food. We found some over here. We could get some ready for everybody. Arcane user. Do you think you could help start a bit of a fire over here? And he'll just like start grabbing pretend to grab driftwood and put it around.
My skills are wasted on you fools, and I will use dancing lights to imitate a fire.
And as he uses that, Griswold like kind of drops the cheery, happy like facade and just says, "Well, won't be very useless when we are able to get rid of the noble and princess. More food for us, yes?"
I'm not sure I understand.
And Griswold will turn over. Have you seen how they've been treating everyone? Do you think that if it comes down to it, they will think twice about getting rid of us in order to save themselves? We should do it first.
Makes sense to me.
But I mean,
You agree, right, friend? And he kind of stands up and has like a kitchen like a cleaning knife in his hand.
I mean, yes.
Right. Then come over here and help us cook.
All right.
And yeah, I'll just sit there like moving stuff around inside the dancing lights for a few minutes while whoever does whatever.
In order to keep things going, I shall walk up. The food will be ready momentarily. Would you please join us?
About time.
Ragnar will just pretend to sway a little bit and pout and complain that they didn't find anything to make ale with.
Lady.
Callum will just look genuinely uncomfortable off to the side.
Well, is it ready?
Yeah, Griswold will come over and pretend to place plates down in front of them on the ground and just, yes, my lady, and he kind of just nods down to Signe and says, "And I haven't gotten your name, sir." And he'll just, as he stands up, he'll like bow and once again very, very quietly say, "They are supposed to be poisoned. They will not affect you. Fights will happen." And he'll just walk away to a bit away and pretend eating some stuff himself.
Flirt.
Allow me to play for you my pan flute. And she'll just blow at it, pretending to drunkenly play it poorly.
Thank you.
Sounds like a pamphlet.
You are dismissed.
She
Are we saying
will toss her pan flute and kind of stumble away.
At least they're recognizing your status here, Your Highness.
Well, it is about time. Shall we try what they attempt to call food?
Oh, it's better than nothing.
And the princess will consume the food.
Yeah, also quite ravenously tear into it, though make a small token attempt at trying to appear more defined while just scarfing down.
And I will begin to grasp my throat.
As
Seeing
that happens, oh, go ahead.
I was seeing that, I'm going to immediately spit out what I haven't swallowed in my mouth. No, you can't do this to me. Do you know who I am?
Griswold will come back up and, oh no, princess, are you choking? Here, let me help. And he'll just grab her grab Arvid by like the forehead and force the mouth open, and just kind of, oh well, I don't see any food. What could it be? And he'll just kind of start like cackling, and he'll look over to Signa and say, "And you, sir, how do you feel?"
No, no, start
You
try to
completely
claw
cut out
away
there,
from
Sam.
him. Start to scratch at my throat, like gasping and like and start like trying to crawl away from him.
And Griswold will kind of just right in Arvid's face. Royalty means nothing here. You've treated me and others far too poorly. This is what you deserve. And he'll just kind of walk away.
All right, everybody do another performance check.
Glad for that +5.
Wait, you got a 5 with +5?
Yeah.
Oh,
she
okay.
still
No,
has
you
the
got 5
wing.
on top of that.
Yeah.
So you got a 10.
I got
Wait,
22 for
that's-
being killed.
That doesn't make sense. My charisma,
Yeah, your
should
charisma
be
is
8.
not 0.
Sorry, the sheet turned into 10 for some reason. Let me try again. Or you can use the same roll. And just add the 7 and the 5.
So 12, 17.
And then Ragna says, I know that I'm kind of, a little bit drunk, but they don't actually seem like they're dying fully. What's going on?
And Griswold will kind of look at her and just, what do you mean? She was on the ground last I looked, and you just kind of turn around and see what they're doing.
Oh, they're just not dying fast enough, and I will pull out my weapon and hit the noble with it. Pretend to hit the noble with it.
As the princess begins to regain her footing,
Still breathing, and I'll take another swing at the noble. And then as I go for the third swing, I'll be more visibly frustrated and put more oomph into it.
you would try to take my life, peasant?
Die! And I'll keep hitting the noble.
Ragna will push at Griswold and be like, do something, they're not dying.
Oh no,
He'll
I'm,
kind
I'm
of-
very much trying to play dead at this point, but just letting him continue to lay into me.
The princess is going to go up to Griswold and attempt to strangle him.
Right? He allows you to grab his neck, and he will, like with his left hand, grab up towards your hands, and with his right hand go into the back of his like belt and pull out a dagger, and he will try to. He'll pretend to run it through you, and then kind of like pull it back out, and look down and just there's no blood, and just kind of look in shock at everyone.
You're not drunk too, are you? Of course there would be blood.
Hearing you, I kind of slow down my assault on the noble and look at my weapon. This is preposterous.
But even from here, can see it as clear as day. There's nothing.
Griswold will push at the princess to get away from him, and then just grab Ragna's hand, pull out like her wrist, and run the dagger across it, and it'll show that there's no blood.
And Ragna will just stare down at her wrist and be like, okay, didn't feel that. Was there something in the drink?
Read me a line.
Let's see.
I'm sure you have one exactly for this situation, Matt.
I smell a foul wind.
I smell a foul wind blowing.
Is it coming from us? Does that mean we are zombies? Undead?
If we cannot die by nature or by betrayal, as she glances at the servant, it must mean we are already.
We're
That's pretty good.
trapped.
I think that's pretty good. Like you'll have a nice little ending there from the princess, and you'll see that from the side, stage fright will start clapping really loud, and then everybody else will sort of like realize, oh, okay, and then like the crowd starts clapping as well. And so
Yay.
you'll take your bows, and for fun, everybody just do another performance check.
And as we're all bowing, Griswold will whisper to Ragna, perhaps thank our host for allowing us the opportunity.
Yeah, Ragna, after bowing pretty poorly, still, I guess, pretending to be drunk, she says, thank you, Dame of Unhappy Ends, for allowing us to perform this for you. We hope that it was to your satisfaction for what we agreed upon.
All right, so everyone sort of starts to file out of the auditorium, and then Endolin appears on the stage and walks forward. And you can see that she sort of politely claps. She says, well, I've seen better, but that was interesting enough. I suppose I can honor such a bargain. And then you can see that she like snaps her fingers and if I can find the token.
I'm even at special effects, god damn it.
When she snaps her finger, Glister appears next to her. You're free to release this thing, and you can stay here if you need to in the actors' quarters. There are some beds back there if you need to rest. Make yourselves at home.
Thank you
Griswold will
again.
just bow.
You follow and I'll bow.
Bow.
Sure.
And she will zap away again.
As soon as she's gone, Griswold kind of looks at everyone. We should go.
Yep, time to go.
Can I at
And he
least...
just starts walking.
And never speak of this again. Agreed.
Please come with us.
I'd like to get out of the heels.
Yeah, you can just as you're walking out, if you go out stage left here, you can just sort of like start tossing your stuff and just leaving it there, you know, like so that you're not walking around in the
As we
costumes
get
and stuff.
here, Griswold will like brace himself up against the wall and let people climb up top off of him.
That was quite the something. Oh,
Well, I know what I'm not cut out for.
Up, everyone, quickly. And I'll look to the girl in the sun mask and just say, your sister should be outside.
And you can see, being an acrobat, she just parkours, you know, jumps up, puts one foot on the side of the wall, and then just hops up there without even, you know, a second
Griswold
thought.
will do the same. I'm assuming Signe could probably get up herself, so he'll
Oh,
just
yeah.
get out of her way and let her.
Well, I was getting ready to grab him by the ankles and hoist him up.
I think Signe is the tallest in the party, isn't she?
Yeah, I mean, I'll offer to pop up Callum too.
I mean, I'm
Like,
6 foot.
Callum is also perfectly capable of getting up there himself.
Leave him up. Pretty much everybody but Ragna and Johan, I think, are
Johan,
probably
yeah.
pretty dexterous and capable.
Are Ragna's wings still up?
They're
That's-
probably gone. They're gone at this point.
Okay.
If it's only an hour. And Glister and Gleam will, hug and do all the stuff that I'm not gonna act out and role play. So.
You have to role play with yourself, kissing and hugging and
Oh
reuniting.
my god! Especially because again, they're characters that I know nothing about because they're not my NPCs.
All right, ladies. I
After
believe
what
we
you
should
just made us do,
out.
you owe us that much.
Look, I didn't make you do it. You didn't have to perform. You didn't have to do it if you
Hey,
didn't
we
want
could have
to.
just murder hoboed
is-
it. Actually,
it
I
is-
think that was cool. That was
It
very
is
fun.
absolutely what Callum would have done. I have never been in my entire life that uncomfortable playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, I'm glad I could have that be a part of that. But yeah, that I will just say for me personally, I think that Wizard of the Coast could have done a better job preparing that little section. In theory, I think could have been very cool, or at least it could have been. It just could have been handled a little better. They didn't really the fact that they were just like the module said you guys just have to ad lib. There was no aside from those line feeding, there was no other.
Yeah, like
Something even as
direction
simple
or-
as stage fright at the start would be like, all right, well, this scene is this, and you would go out and do it, and then scene end, you go back, and the next scene he tells you the same thing.
Or at the very least, to me, I think what would have made more sense is if they would have actually had a little bit of a script with lines, and then for the DM to say, "All right, show it to the players, but only give them 5 minutes to look at it, and then take it away." That to me would
Yeah.
have made sense, but they didn't do it that way. There is no script at all. So yeah, it could have been done better, but
Yeah, I wanted to rush out before they realized we still had the scepter.
that's fine. You can
Not just-
you can investigate the scepter if you'd like.
Yeah, no.
Oh, we are
like,
getting out
should-
of here first.
Yeah, we have to physically leave the building, guys. Come on, let's go.
All right,
Yeah, I'm also
so-
going to heal myself as well.
Let's go find the dandelion.
The other thing is amazing about this too is that you guys could probably play if you ever you could play this module again with a different DM and it would be a completely different experience because the amount of things that you guys the things that I have decided I didn't want to do because they were a little goofy or things that you guys could have done but didn't do, I will say that's one thing about this module is there are so many different paths in this. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Like the
Well, I mean-
double-edged sword of open-ended stuff.
Right. And well, I mean, the fact that there's an entire map for Loom Lurch that you guys just were like, nah, fuck it, we're gone. Well,
All
like I said,
right.
it's the same thing like we did with the dragon heist, where the whole thing, you guys just skipped the heist. You're like, nah, we're cool.
Storm King's Thunder is very much that way too. Half the book is intentionally you will go unused because it's a lot of oh, well, you can go to one of these 3 places.
Yeah, it's a really great pick your own adventure. It's just our party never committed to any of it, so.
I mean, I'll be honest, that is the pros and cons. I mean, it's where I like to do my own stories because it's it's not necessarily that I'm trying to railroad you guys into the stories, but I'm not going to give you 47 different options. I'll give you 3, and these modules are you can, depending on which one you choose, we could be playing the module for an extra 6 sessions. You know what I mean? I don't personally ever write anything that's quite that major. So anyway, you guys do make it out with no repercussions.
Perfect.
And
Hey, Sir Amador. Paulina. Paulinella. I'm sorry, I said your name wrong.
yeah, Arbit has to talk to the flower because he's the only one that speaks Sylvan, if I remember correctly.
And it's the
Yeah, but they-
dandelion?
Under their names.
It is a dandelion. Yeah, he's actually there is a under the
handouts.
I believe
handouts.
the explanation was something along the lines of he speaks a crazy mixture of Sylvan and Common, and none of us can understand him.
Yeah, Sylvan,
aside from
common,
you.
and a flower sort of language that plants would speak. And we
So
decided that even though
plant.
you don't speak I don't think you have the spell speak with plants. We just decided it made sense for you to be able to do it. So
No, I do have it. I'm not got it prepared, but I have the spell.
okay, well there you go.
Yeah, from what we understood, it was like being able to understand Americanized Scottish and then going to Scotland and still being able to understand the drunkest two fucks in the bar with their like you can barely understand us Scottish.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to Amador.
You were talking to Amador, and then you already have it, but this is Amador.
Yeah, with the
Isn't he
B
cool?
as well. Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. Well, we're back, Amador.
And he sort of puts his hands to his sword and says, "Well, as long as we can get these two back to the prime material plane, we'll head off to the palace."
Real quick, before they head off, I think they should join us to see Bevlorna. Or sorry, not Bevlorna. Fucking
Zabilna.
Zabilna. Yes. It seems, based on what we've heard, they might be able to play a pivotal role in reclaiming this section of the Feywild for Zabilna.
I don't think Zabilna will have much problems if she is freed, but it's up to them, I guess.
Agreed.
And Amador will tell Arvid, we need to get them to safety. We're not putting them in any further danger. It defeats the entire purpose of you going in there and saving them.
Well, do you have a way to send them back to the Prime Realm?
They just need to find a fairy circle. Simple as that. And fairy circles were in Thither.
Thither. But
Yeah, but-
they're random.
Yeah.
And Gleam will speak up. We'll be fine.
All right, so back to Thither then for a bit, and then onward to the palace.
Look at the flower and say, do we have to go back there, or is there a way from Jan? And I'll look to Arvid and just say, ask him, please.
Yes, I will translate questions that people have.
Yeah. There aren't any fairy circles in Yon that Amador is aware of. So, I mean, we won't do a big back and forth, but it will take you a few days to essentially get, because Amador can get you back and forth. So you can get back to Thither, and then he can get you to the Palace of Heart's Desire. It's just going to take a few days, but it won't be a problem.
And we will have dreams when we're not in the fog, right?
Correct. Oh, well, you could potentially.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yes, possibly.
So I guess that's what we're set on. We'll go with. Well, I mean, we have to follow the flower, basically. We have to go with him where he wants to go to get them out, and then we have to follow him.
Yep.
I'm good with that.
All right. So, just for the sake of time, too, I'm not gonna. You won't run into anything. Well, I'm not gonna roll on any random tables, but everybody except for Arvid and Johan just roll a d20. We'll just do one to see if.
Just gotta say, I could probably count on that because I've got 4 first level slots for restful slumber.
Griswold wants to sleep, and he wants to dream if he has it. So if you offer it to him, he would ask you to please no.
Anyone else want a restful night's sleep?
I mean, I want to dream.
I think I'll be fine. My dreams haven't been too intense.
Unlike our friend William, I've found them rather intriguing.
Okay then.
That looks so cool, like every time. So I'm good.
Rob, you did. I don't know. I'm pretty sure you were here the day that, or the time that Matt explained to me my last dream, right? About the people who were looking for me, knowing where I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know
Okay,
your
so
name.
yeah, that ever since then he's been wanting to have the dreams to see what happens.
That's fine.
Signa, did you roll? Did I miss it?
I didn't see
Yeah.
one from her.
Okay.
Really? Everyone always rolls pretty much like either all above 10 or not, and then we got Ragna.
Or nobody.
All right, so we will start from the bottom actually first. So Signa and well, Signa, everybody but Ragna and Johan, you didn't need to roll. So Ragna doesn't have a dream, but everybody else does. Signa, your dream actually is almost feels like a continuation of the dream that you had previously, where you were in the snow and you were murdering people, and there was, you know, blood and everything everywhere, along with a grown Aster who was accompanying you and attacking things.
There's my
Um,
good girl.
So you see yourself again. This is this sort of out of body visions that you're having. You see yourself walking again. You are still covered in blood at this point, and you can see you're walking in the snow, and in the distance you can see sort of up on a bit of a hill. You can see this kind of a fortress-looking structure, and lining the road up to this structure, you can see that there are they're not quite gallows, but they are um, poles with basically they're like T's. And so on each side of the top beam, essentially, that's going across, you can see people hanging by the neck from them. And there are probably maybe 30 of them going up to this fortress-looking place. And you obviously you are these visions are sort of strange, where you can kind of get the sense of things as if you were actually there. So you sort of get the feeling that this is the place that you were intending to get to. Um, and you start trudging up this hill towards there, and then all of a sudden you sort of get this weird feeling like you're being watched, and Aster turns around and starts growling, and you sort of like again recognize, okay, well, there's something probably behind me. And before you can turn, you feel this really sharp pain in your gut, and you look down, and there's an end of a sword now sticking out of your stomach, as someone has just stabbed you in the back with a sword, and that actually just makes you wake up. So that is your vision.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not the first time that's happened. Kind of rubs the
This
place.
one feels bad. I mean, this is a big like broadsword that has just gone through your spine and out your stomach. So you've certainly been injured before, but this is worrying, because this is certainly would appear to be a mortal wound.
Ah, yeah, okay. I'm gonna kind of rub the place like on my stomach where that would have poked through.
Yeah. Well, and you can probably get at least a little bit of like deep breath, because it's still you're still there. There's no hole there. You're not bleeding. No, there's no transfer from the dream. So Callum, you are next.
Yep.
And that was kind of appropriate, sort of creepy music for this this vision that you're gonna have here. So you find yourself, and again, out of body, seeing yourself in the third person, essentially. You are not wearing your normal robes. In your previous vision, you were wearing a mask. In this vision, you were not wearing a mask. You are wearing darker sort of robes. You have your hood up. And you see sort of faintly, because it's sort of like behind you, you see this sort of bluish violet butterfly that starts to sort of catch up to you as you're walking and is sort of flitting around your head.
Mhm.
And you hear a woman's voice that is sort of echoing around you. It sounds like it's coming from all directions, and you are the place that you're in seems to be underground. It's kind of cold. You hear sort of like the dripping of water, but it's very dark, so you don't have a your dark vision allows you to see, but you're seeing sort of still in black and white essentially.
Right.
And this voice just says, "So, I hear you've been looking for me." And that's it.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, again, your dreams probably are a bit more vague than most everybody else's. Um, and then we have Griswold, and I guess probably when you wake up, you might end up being a little bit disappointed in your dream because you were trying to find out about these people that are after you. But this vision does not seem to be, at least immediately, related to this in any sort of way. You find yourself in a city that you're not familiar with. You're walking around. You can see all these large buildings. You hear, crowds of people talking. Just seems like generally a normal city. You've been to multiple places, but you don't recognize any of the buildings. You don't recognize where you are at all. And you are walking and weaving through, and within the vision, you are doing what you normally do as a person, which is you're just kind of like scouting things out. Essentially, you're not like purposely there to. You feel like you're not purposely there to scout anything out. It's just sort of a natural habit. You're always like looking at exits. You're looking down alleys, making sure people aren't following you. Sort of like looking for anybody suspicious. Just that type of thing. And eventually, you get to what appears to be a temple, cathedral of some kind, and you walk up towards it, and you can see that sort of a young, probably in her early 20s, sort of appears to be a cleric of some kind wearing robes, and says, "Welcome to the Temple of Pelor," and sort of motions you in, and that's your vision.
Right.
And Ragna sleeps soundly.
Yep.
All that booze she was drinking.
And that's it for the visions.
All right. Well, I'm assuming we're still traveling the next day or two.
Yeah, so you have about 3 days total.
All right. So yeah. Well, that next day, when Griswold wakes up, Ragnar, he is going to talk your ear off about religion and ask if you know things about Palor and all that kind of stuff.
Ragna would tell him everything that she knows. Though her focus is on Arathis, she would tell him what she knows about Palor as well.
Do a religion check. How much do you know about Palor?
Let's see. Religion.
You can do it with advantage. I mean, I actually said that I was on a different screen, so I didn't actually see what you rolled before I said that. So I'm glad I
Glad
did.
you did.
Yeah, don't you look at when the dice go, hey, that thing you're supposedly fantastic about, that fits your character perfectly? No, fuck you.
Yeah.
This is why it's so good to play a character with like expertise or advantage automatically
Yeah.
or something like that. It's just
Absolutely.
for those things.
I mean, I always feel like in those instances, like if you're a powerful wizard, you should have advantage on Arcana anyway. To my mind, same thing with like clerics, and I mean, certainly for Arathis, you would definitely have advantage, but yeah, I mean, I feel like as a part of training as a paladin, you would have not learned only about Arathis. You would know a decent amount. I wish there was a way to give like advantage and a half. You know what I mean? Not full advantage, but just like partial advantage. I guess you could do that as like, yeah, get a +5 to it or whatever. But anyway, I mean, you do know a decent amount of Pelor, and who he is and what he stands for. Obviously, you can go to the Prime Deities and Discord and read about those things. So all the things that are listed there for Pelor are things that Ragna would be able to tell you about.
Alrighty.
So
Yeah, next.
help relieve the suffering of the innocent whenever it exists. Deliver the light of the Dawn Father, where darkness dwells, with kindness, compassion, and mercy. Be ever vigilant for evil. People are quick to forget the lessons of the past. He is considered the prime creator of Exandria.
And you would also tell that Regna enjoys chatting about religion and the things that she has learned, and very happy to share them with Griswold.
Alright. Well, he will continuously bother you about it, like every so often.
So, does anybody else want to do anything? Ask any questions of each other? Or are we headed to the palace?
I believe we're just headed to the palace.
I want to keep training sweet little Aster.
Train her to be
Oh.
faster at finding things.
You
Nope,
know,
that's why you got stabbed in the gut. Aster just
Clearly.
can't sense people behind you.
you do know she prefers me over you.
Oh, wow.
Aggressively pouts.
So I was expecting to get higher than a nat 1, but I wasn't expecting a nat 20.
At some point, Ragna would have just gone to Callum and been like, have you dreamed anything else of that place that we saw?
I did have another dream, but not of the same place. Myself meeting someone. I don't know who. A woman. I'm not sure the same. Most likely not.
This was a different voice than what you had that you heard previously, and it sounded contemptuous and angry and yeah, not friendly to you at all. This was
Whoever
not
it
someone who was
was,
expecting or was happy to see you, I suppose.
whoever it was seemed quite hostile, but at least believed that I was seeking them out.
Well, I hope that the rest of us are with you then.
We shall see, I suppose. For now, frankly, I'm just... The sooner we can find this remedy that may help your sister and return to the prime material, the better.
Regna nods.
Signy is just gonna be really, really mad the whole day.
Got stabbed in the gut. My dog doesn't like me.
Pretty much. Nothing's going my way. I didn't even look cool. I got stabbed.
You guys do realise that these dreams that you have, or if you're dreaming about a future, are possible futures. You guys remember that, right?
Arvid, you're missing the point, my friend.
What, that Asta likes me more than you?
Okay, listen, I am upset about that, but our relationship will grow if I pay attention and look, okay, so the deal is I got stabbed, and it wasn't just like any sword, it was like a big sword that like cut me in half. And like I didn't see it coming, but Aster saw it coming, and like I didn't even get time to retaliate. There was nothing cool about it. I just got stabbed through the gut. I couldn't react, and I couldn't even bleed out cool. Like, I drop in the snow, man. Like, I couldn't even die standing up. You know
Wait,
how disappointing that is?
do you understand it's actually a good thing now?
No, it's terrible.
No, you know it's coming.
Arvid, no.
That means you're less likely to get stabbed in that situation at that time, in that way.
But it means I don't get to stand up, and die a beautiful death in like battle. I go out like a little bitch.
Well,
It's just really disappointing.
well, we all can't go out in the blaze of glory, so for now, just work on not getting stabbed in the back.
Oh, I'm not even worried about getting stabbed in the back. I mean, do you know how many times I've been stabbed? A lot.
Kinda sounds like a you problem.
I wouldn't expect you to understand. Look, it's just a blaze of glory thing. It hurts me right in the pride, okay?
I sometimes forget how young you all are.
Like you're that much older.
Got a few years.
Yeah, and that's still like 3 in Elvish, right?
Sure. Come on, Aster, let's go actually enjoy ourselves.
Pouts and he's taking Aster with him.
And she's getting pretty big at this point. I mean, she's not full grown, but she's certainly bigger than the token would make her look at this point. Figure a few more months and she might be fully grown. So you can have these conversations as you're traveling. Amador actually leads you what seems to be to you all a pretty direct path through the mists, and you can see that he does this kind of I guess the best way to describe it, I think of it like Groot essentially. So when there are these like you're following along bits of bridge, and when there's like gaps, he kind of stretches out all of these tendrils of vines and stuff, and sort of creates a little temporary bridge that you all can actually walk across, which is pretty surprising probably to everybody but Arvid, that this small little creature would be capable of doing something like that. But for Arvid, it's like, no big deal.
This is the Feywild. Fuckery happens.
Yeah.
Man, this is an incredible skill. No wonder why you're such an obviously good fighter.
And he's very much not, but yes. So as you're going through here and getting close, a twilight palace, or twilit palace, I suppose, emerges dreamlike from the clouds. There's a great marble tower ringed by delicate spires, casting its shadow over the rooftops below. There is another tower that is teetering nearby, torn from its foundations and held aloft by a coiled beanstalk. Monstrous vines cling to the palace walls and choke the promontory of rock on which it perches. And I'll just move you all over here. Should all be at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And the dynamic lighting, I don't know if this does it properly, but there is a gate.
We can see through the
Yes.
gate and not through the wall.
Okay. Sometimes they do little circles of the gate, but it looks like they didn't put any dynamic lighting, so don't walk through it, because it would probably let you.
You can't tell me what to do.
So as you guys are sort of arriving here, You can say your goodbyes to Amador, who is not going to stick around. And as you're sort of just looking around, seeing what you can see, um, there hundreds of birds burst from the canopy of the ancient forest that's below you. And you can see they're like flying out in all directions. And moments later, a much more fearsome creature erupts from the woods, a sinewy, pale green dragon that takes to the sky and flies towards you and the palace.
A
And
dragon?
Is
Well,
that the Jabberwock?
it is. It drops like a stone and vanishes from sight behind the palace's high walls.
Uh-huh.
Well, so much for avoiding that like the plague.
Well, this is where it naturally resides.
Up here.
Yes, the Jabberwock belongs to the Queen.
So you can see that there is at this front gate here, there is ivy clinging to the gates as well as the walls surrounding it. And you can see off in or through the gate rather, behind the gate, through it, whatever. There is a beautiful, luxuriant garden behind. The gate, it is a double gate, so it's not a single. It would open inward. It's about 20 feet tall.
Oh, to go this way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can do a perception check on it, everybody. I mean, actually, with a passive perception that Griswold has, you can see that it's not only not locked, there is no lock on the gate. There's just not a thing. There's not like handles on it that could be locked.
All right. Griswold will kind of. So, do we just go in?
I would suppose so.
Well, you could announce yourself.
All right. And he'll turn and start putting all his weight behind it and pushing the gate. Just one of them, like the one that'll open like this way.
Yep, it opens with surprising ease.
Right.
And as you're doing that, you notice, sort of like as you're pushing it, you see a small bronze plaque that's embedded on the flagstone at the base of the gate. It's written in a language that I don't think is written in Elvish. Again, you can recognize it. I don't know if you can actually read it.
I do not.
You may point it out if you'd like.
I think it's
I
just
will.
Callum and Arvid
Arvid.
who read it.
Yeah.
I will point it out to the both of them. I'll just say a bit of Elven rating. Not sure what it says.
And this is what it says.
The lion or the hat must wear the crown. Which one should weigh it down?
That's not a typo either, actually. It actually is HART. I don't even know what that means.
It's a deer, like a big one.
Okay.
And Griswold kind of just, well, I'm sure that'll reveal itself to mean something soon enough, right? And he'll just kind of turn his head in towards like inside and just, hello, you visitors are here, and just kind of wait to see if anyone says anything back.
Arvid, I'm betting 1 gold that it's gonna be a deer. 1 gold on the heart.
Hell, it's possible.
Well, I mean, in all of our fairy tales and stuff, you fae folk really like your deer because they're always the prey, and then you like turn it around, and you're like, ah, we got you.
What stories of the Fae do you actually know?
The retold ones.
Which are?
Probably not the ones you grew up with.
Right, it's okay.
So as you sort of enter in, you get immediately the scent of roses and hyacinths and all these different flowers. You can see ahead of you here is a ring of standing stones, and then to your right you can see here a pavilion, of which you do see people, um, by your guess, and again with Griswold's high passive perception. Looks like there are
No,
about.
my passive perception sucks. My passive investigation is good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I've got a 17 passive
there you go.
perception.
We
There you
have
go.
317 passive perceptions in
Yeah,
this party.
I knew that somebody had it, but yeah. So anyway, you do see that there are about, looks like there are 7 people, that are in this pavilion. And when you said hello, they one of them sort of just looks back and says, "Oh, more guests."
More guests.
Oh, and it just yeah.
We found this place actually quite hard to reach. I'm surprised there are people here.
I'm not.
So yeah, they introduce themselves. There are again there are 7 of them, and they're at this pavilion. They're all sitting around sort of a large picnic table that has emerald green cloth that's got cakes and teapots and teacups and cutlery. You can see that 2 of the guests are sort of motionless and silent, but everybody else is sort of engaged in spirited conversation, we'll say. And in the back of the pavilion, there's a string quartet of badger minstrels playing delicate chamber music. I would play some chamber music if I had it, but I don't. And because we are getting later in the evening for our game here, I'll just briefly rather than role play, I'll just briefly tell you who these people are. They all sort of introduce themselves, that they are denizens of the material plane, and they sort of, you get the idea that they're not patrons of Zybilna, like your warlock friend that you met when you set out on the journey, but they do sort of revere her as sort of a fairy godmother type figure. They used various Fey crossings to enter into the Feywild, and they petitioned spellcasters that they ran across to transport them to the palace via that ring of standing stones that you see up there. And they had hoped to receive an audience with Zybilna upon their arrival, but have been told to wait in the garden until meetings can be arranged with her representatives. Those representatives being the Hourglass Coven. You get the impression through talking to them that they are not aware of Zybilna's current sort of predicament, and they have completely lost track of time. They have no idea how long they've actually been waiting here. There's Sumai, who is a farmer, and he has a carnivorous pumpkin named Yarnzu with him, because of course he does. There is a man named Lord Eld, who is a very polite aristocrat. There is Obel Ob, who somehow is a headless dwarf. That's what he describes, is that he's missing his head and searching for it. And there is Bodger, who is a talking brown bear up here.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is a very interesting group of people, to say the least. And then 2 of them that I mentioned earlier that were motionless and not talking appear to be similarly, you assume, to Zybilna, frozen in time.
And what happened to those 2?
They would tell you that they were like that when they got here. And you can see that the spirited debate that they were having is actually about the proper way to put condiments onto a scone. Do you put clotted cream on first, or do you put on the jam? and that's what they're discussing. You get the idea that this is a very like many of the things that you've come across, that something's amiss, something's awry. This is obviously these people are confused and they don't really know what's happening. So, yes, you kind of get the idea that this is probably not going to be a particularly productive conversation with these folks.
Griswold kind of turns and looks at everyone and just says, "Right, well, I don't know how helpful this is going to be. Perhaps we should have a look around."
Um, Actually, those of you that then have that very high um, perception, you notice there's a small package sitting on the table that appears to have to be addressed to Arvid.
Well, I wasn't
Is this a-
expecting that.
Well, it says Arvid and companions, so it's actually addressed to all of you, but it would be too hard to have all of your names on it.
I'll walk over and pick up the package. If you don't mind, this is addressed to me.
They just kind of ignore you.
Pick it up and walk back to the group.
All right. Does anybody speak Draconic?
No.
Nope.
I don't think so.
Is it Draconic Thieves' Cant?
It is not.
No, I do not.
Is
A
it
name?
draconic with a bit of infernal?
It's just Draconic.
Damn.
The
Perhaps you meant Elvish.
I didn't actually.
I heard
But-
goblin.
But you can open it. The name, the sort of is addressed in common, but there is a note that you sort of flip up. So it's like a little, like one of those little half card things. So on the outside it has your name, Arvid, and then you open it up and there's writing in Draconic. But I would say that you would know at the signature. You can't read what it says, but the signature is from Sir Talavar, which now we recognize why it would be written in Draconic. He's a fairy dragon.
Well, Sir Talavar left me a message, but forgot that I don't speak Draconic.
Griswold is going to kind of just turn to all the people up there. Any of you speak or read the Draconic script?
To be fair, that does sound like Sir Talavar from what little we've seen of him.
And all of these people have commoner stats, noble stats, or are a bear. So they do not speak
What?
Draconic.
A dragon bear.
Well, I'll just open the package.
All right. This is what he has gifted you.
Cool.
Ooh.
Name of
Sweet. I'm not going to say no to a time of opening.
So you get it 10 times, so it doesn't completely replace the rogue.
Is it cursed?
That's your item of the rogue failed his check.
Yes.
Well,
Mhm.
it appears he left us a backup key.
That was nice of him.
Yeah. That means we can get into the castle? Or palace?
Though the front gate itself wasn't even locked, so...
Well, we can try and enter, and if we find any locked doors on our way to Zabilna, we can open them.
I have noticed there seems to be another small staircase leading up onto the surrounding walls. Might be worth examining that before we delve into the palace itself. If
Yeah.
the
Yeah, we'll have a quick look around first, yes.
That and the garden, yes. It's not often you're going to find yourself in a Fey castle courtyard.
Yeah. Well, you can look around at the nice flowers. I will be looking around for clues on how to freeze the building. and Griswold is going to kind of start walking away, and turn to everyone in the pavilion and just say, he's gonna be an asshole. He's gonna say, the building has been in a bit of a predicament for a very long time now. It appears you all are being fooled by some sort of arcane, and just walk away.
Not really being an ass if you're just telling the truth.
Yeah, but I don't want to answer any questions.
And I walk away.
So yeah, I will just. I'm going straight up to anything that looks like it was made. Not. I'm kind of ignoring the natural stuff. So like, I'll walk up to here, check out this thing, and then I'll walk up the bridge and blah blah blah, and just yeah.
We are looking for a cauldron, right? I thought that's what we were looking for.
Igwil's
Well,
cauldron.
cauldron was yeah. A cauldron was one of the things that was a possibility. The other one was the horn, right?
Well, we have
Or the original
the
unicorn.
horn.
Yeah, you have the unicorn here, unicorn horn.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go around the horn, as it were. So this thing right here.
Mm-hmm.
You said that first. So this appears to be a marble fountain, rising from the bank of the stream. It's overflowing with time-frozen water that spills from the mouths of sculpted animals. The frozen spray surrounding the fountain creates rainbows in the air around it. And without having to do specific investigations for a specific area, as you all are walking around, you notice that there are frozen, lots of different frozen features, so that there are occupants, most of the occupants, in fact, the people that you met seem to be the only ones that are not. So you see people that are frozen in place, as they would have, whenever this happened, they were milling about and got frozen along with Sibylla, more than likely. There are pixies that are suspended in air mid-flight that are just sort of like stuck in the air. There are forest gnome gardeners that are standing within the flower beds, kind of looks like garden gnomes, very clever. And you can see that there is water that looks like sort of like frozen ice everywhere, because that's what ice is, frozen. You can see that the fruit trees are bearing glittering gold and silver fruit, and the streams that are sort of like on the map here, they're not flowing, they're all frozen as well.
If I touch down, is it like frozen cold, or is it just like stopped?
Yeah, it stopped. So actually, you can still put your hand in the water. It's not hard. It's
just like still water.
Yeah, even though it's a stream, it's just sort of sitting there.
Okay.
And kind of like, even if you move your hand around, it doesn't move. It's all, you do get resistance, almost like you're like trying to move Jello. So what else? Is anybody else, like, specifically a spot that you wanted to investigate? I know Callum does, but
I mean, after that part, Griswold would probably make his way over. This thing looks like it's man-made, right? It doesn't look like it's natural, like this big circle up here.
it's a rose garden.
Okay. That's where he would head next.
Ragnar would investigate the circle.
Arvid is literally just walking around the garden aimlessly, just seeing if something catches his eye.
I'll just be tagging along since he probably still has Aster and just being like, so what kind of horrible things do we find in gardens here?
Well, you'd be surprised.
All right, so I will go through the things since Arvid's gonna just kind of walk around everywhere looking. I will go through most of the things that you would come across here. So obviously we'll do the standing stone first. So the standing stones, there are 12 of them, all covered in moss, and there's a small clearing in the middle. There's no flowers or anything in the center of it, and there is an arcane sigil that is inscribed on the inward-facing side of each of the stones. Um, but you don't recognize any of the sigils or anything like that. I don't think anybody's actually proficient in arcane, are they? Or arcana?
I'm good at it, but I'm not proficient at it. Like I have a +3.
I think that's the highest out of everyone.
Anybody, if anybody wants to investigate them, you can roll an arcana check. You don't have to be proficient, but if the DC be higher.
Ragna will attempt it, but she's not smart. Nope.
I know nothing of your Feywild.
It's sick name, mate.
She
I
does.
don't know why.
That's great. The barbarian figures it out. Maybe traveling through ruins, Signa has seen similar things to this, and you would recognize that 18 determine that the symbols themselves combine into a sequence that allows the standing stones to function as a teleportation circle.
No way. That's wild. God, it's been so long.
So if you choose, you can do an intelligence check to attempt to remember the sequence that you've sort of figured out, or if you have pen and paper, you can write it down.
I happen to have pen and paper.
Of course, someone would need to cast the teleportation spell.
Hey,
Teleportation circle spell.
does anyone know teleportation magic?
I think that's everybody's still too low level for that, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Oh, by a lot.
Yeah, because that's a pretty high level spell, I think.
I think like 5th level or 6. Yeah,
Pretty
fifth.
sure.
It's 5th level. It's 5th level spell. And actually, there's no class that. None of you are the class that can cast it. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's what the standing stones are. So you can see here this little axe in the ground is a woodcutter's axe. A gleaming great axe is embedded in a withered tree stump near the bend in the stream. You kind of get the vibes of like the sword and the stone type of thing. It's embedded pretty deeply. So if anybody wants to try and pull it out, you can. Otherwise, that's all that is.
Absolutely.
I'll
All right.
guide.
Yeah, you can just do a strength check. You actually don't even need to do a strength check. What is your strength?
18.
Yeah, you don't even need to roll. You didn't even need to roll for it because 18 is strong enough. So you actually, and it's in the compendium. It is a woodcutter's axe, which is a +1 great axe.
Ooh.
Come to mama.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where you do extra damage to plant-like creatures.
Yes, when you use this axe to make an attack against a plant, an ordinary plant, or a creature with the plant type, or a wooden object that isn't being worn or carried, the attack deals an extra 2d6 of damage, so you can bash some doors down. And
Beautiful.
it is considered a magic weapon as well. So, did you find it in the compendium?
I did not, but that is a-okay. Hey guys, I got a new axe.
Here, actually, I think I can add it to your character sheet. I think.
Yeah, David just quietly to himself. Oh, she wonders what could be the dangers in this place, yet immediately goes over to the axe and removes it.
There you go. It
Of
should be at
course.
the bottom of your list now. You can move it if you want, but it should be. You should see it at the bottom there in your attacks.
Oh,
All right. So let's see what else we got. So the rose garden is a fragrant rose garden bordered by a bronze fence. The roses come in a variety of colors with a few white and black specimens among them. There are glistening spider webs that are covering the rose bushes.
All right. Can I like look through everything like thoroughly, the statue, everything?
Yeah, you can do an investigation check. There are a number of chromatic roses, and there is in the heart of the garden is coiled around a statue of a prancing satyr holding a set of pipes to his lips is a thorny vine with 5 roses growing out of it, each of a different color: black, blue, green, red, and white.
Okay. Can I grab some of them? Actually, before I do it, just because I hear it in the back of my head, I'm gonna yell over to Arvid and ask him to come take a look at this.
I shall go take a look at the pretty flowers.
And I'll just
You do
point
get
out what they're on and see and say, ask, if he thinks there's anything significant. Are they okay to take, dangerous, leave, take, whatever, blah blah blah.
you can do a nature check, I guess.
Nice.
They are, in fact, in the compendium. They are the black chromatic rose, the blue chromatic rose, green chromatic rose,
Oh my
red,
god,
and
these are
white.
cool.
They are pretty cool. So, like, for example, the black chromatic rose, while holding this rose by its stem, you gain resistance to acid damage. If you would take more than 10 from a single source, the rose disintegrates and you take no damage instead. That's the black one. So you can drag all of them.
It does not have. I don't have them in my compendium.
Yeah, same.
I wonder why that is. I wonder because I have
Maybe because
them.
you bought the.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah, but
what it is.
but you're in my game, so therefore you should have the
True.
access to the same things that I do. It doesn't matter. I can drag them, but still, it's just odd that you can't see them.
And I can't see any of them.
Yeah, I will. It's no big deal. I'll just
Yeah.
drag them over there.
But yeah, apparently, by the looks of them, if you are holding some of these roses, well, like one at a time, you can gain some special benefits.
Well, Griswold will go and pluck them all off, and once we know what they do, I will hand them out to people.
Now, did you prick your finger?
No, why?
Well, you're lucky.
Well,
Did
you've got them
you?
all right now, so we'll just for now you just hang on to all 5 of them.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm just messing with him.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, just so that you can see them on your. You should see them on your character sheet now, at the very bottom again, and your items.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because if you were to prick your finger on one of these chromatic roses, I don't think you'd survive it.
Turn into a chromatic dragon.
Huh.
I like how no one's inciting this.
They
I
trust
mean,
you.
Griswold kind of just trusts you when it comes to this shit. How the hell do I roll these things so I can see what they do?
Oh, you can't really off your sheet.
Ah. All right, well, yeah. Griswold is going to just be...
I mean, they all do the same thing. It's just for different stuff. So black is resistance to acid. Blue is resistance to lightning.
White is cold, green is poison, red is fire.
All right. Well, then, yeah, I'll hold on to them, and if they ever seem to be useful, it'll probably be going to one of the people up front, so either Ragnar or Signe.
Yeah, they could also make great ingredients.
If there's anything that you could use them for, of course.
All right. So, Callum, you are in front of a tower.
Mm-hmm.
Double doors that are locked.
Give a listen. See if there seems like there's anything on the other side.
You hear a little bit of like maybe what sounds like movement, like a rustling sort of sound. Like it sounds like rustling leaves.
Odd. William, there's a bit of a lock over here. Might be someone on the other side. It's hard to tell.
You also see, sorry, there's a bronze plaque above the door that in common says envy.
Hmm.
The tower is about 30 feet high and there does not appear to be a roof. Anybody who's capable of flying 30 feet into the air, jumping 30 feet into the air, can just go right on in.
I can't do that yet.
Ragna can.
Hey, I got pixie dust. Hold on.
Or you can just try and unlock the door.
I was going to say, perhaps we could simply try the lock.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you didn't try the door. That seems like the first thing you would do.
It's locked. That's what I just said.
If you guys tell William or tell Griswold, he will come over and try. I rolled a 3 and I got a 19.
Gotta love it.
Damn.
Yeah. Simple, easy. Boom. Within this Envy's tower here, there are oak trees that are filling much of the interior of this tower, and there's rays of lights that are cutting through the canopy, illuminating a marble pedestal that stands at ground level, swathed in tree roots. A hulking lion, seemingly made out of iron, stands on its pedestal, flicking its tail in sort of that, when cats get annoyed and they're like smacking their tail back and forth. And it looks at all of you and says, "You can call us Envy."
Us?
It's a pleasure to meet you, Envy.
And it just sort of slowly bows its head, still sort of whipping its tail back and forth.
I'm gonna kind of crane my head a little bit more to try to figure out if there's more than one lion in there.
If you don't mind me saying so, we're a bit new to this place. Are you a long-standing resident? I would assume so, given your placement.
I have been here from the beginning. Or I'm sorry, he says, "We have been here from the beginning."
I see. And what would your role be exactly, if I may be so rude?
Well, we and our counterpart were created as a pair to protect the gardens from intruders in Zybilna's absence.
I see. Do you know how long Zybilna is? Well, rather, would you consider Zybilna's current state an absence?
Well, our presence here means that our mistress is gone, but where we do not know.
Interesting. Very interesting. And so you guard the gardens?
Indeed, the palace receives visitors even in Zybilna's absence. Guests are to remain in the garden pavilion until Zybilna deigns to grant them an audience. It is not our responsibility to protect visitors, only the gardens.
Well said and noted. Although we come to investigate about Zybilna's absence and to see what aid we may lend, we have concerns that foul play may be at work. Would it be possible for us to enter the palace and offer our assistance and aid in this endeavor?
And he says, Zybilna created the Crown of Needles as a key that guests can use to reach certain areas of the palace in her absence. The crown has two forms, one made of silver needles, the other of golden roses. To transform the crown of needles into its gold form, it must be placed on the brow of the correct Iron Guardian. Which of us, Envy or Wrath, is the correct guardian? We cannot say. Placing the crown on the incorrect guardian banishes the guardian to its demiplane, along with the crown. You haven't met the other guardian, but
And how would one determine which is the correct guardian?
we cannot say.
Interesting.
Once the crown is transformed into its gold form, either guardian can wear it without being banished. Certain doors inside the palace become unlocked or locked, depending on which guardian wears the golden crown.
Very interesting. Arvid, you wouldn't happen to have any leads on this, would you?
I say we walk around the garden and try to find any and all plaques.
Hmm.
We also need to find the crown.
Are we
Of the
free
other
to
guardian.
Are we free to move about the garden in search of this crown?
And it just, again, bows its head, sort of as an acknowledgement of yes.
We appreciate your hospitality then. And Callum will also bow. Would you prefer the doors left open or shut?
If you guys are finished talking, the doors will actually automatically close, and then you'll hear them click.
Well, I suppose that answers that.
All right. I guess I think we saw a plaque back at the entrance, so I'll start back there.
Yes, there was the one about the uh, the lion or the
Lion and the
heart.
heart.
So it
Which
seems
is
as you
exactly what
have-
he just told us.
Yeah. And there is actually one section that I forgot to go over. So there's a pond, here that is frozen. You can see that there are willow trees that encircle this sheltered pond. Lily pads dot the mirror-like surface of the water, and hungry dragonflies dart about, feeding on motionless fireflies that form an unmoving cloud above the still water. The lake, the trees, and the fireflies are frozen in time, but the dragonflies are not. And actually, this probably would have happened before because Griswold was putting his hands in the water. I will say that we can just say that you do it now. You put your hand in the water, and in return, a delicate hand made of water that is black silently breaks the water's surface, and the hand clutches a crown made of silver needles. Below the hand, under the surface, a school of shimmering black fish take on a vaguely humanoid form. Looking at it, it's would not be a crown you would want to take with your bare hands. I don't know if any of you. I mean,
I'll
Ragnar
hold
probably
it.
has gauntlets on.
Well, I was gonna say if it happened when I was doing, I would just hold a dagger out and grab it up with that and put it on the ground.
I would just do it with my hand because fuck it, it's not the first time I've bled.
Stab in the gut in your dreams. Yeah, I mean, the needles aren't. If you grab them with your hand, I mean, it's not severe enough to deal damage, but you can't really grasp it for longer than like a minute, or it's become very uncomfortable. So, did Ragnar grab it, or Signa grab it then?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
just come grab it.
So as you're holding it, you hear a gentle voice on the wind, that says this. I'm not going to read it. Well, I'll read it, but also put it in the chat here. It says, "The beginning of whenever, the end of ever after, the start of an age, the finale of every moment. the first in history. And you can also see there's a tower over here that looks similar to the one that you were just in.
Signe, do you share that with the group?
Yeah, hey guys, so I'm hearing things in the wind.
What are you hearing?
Riddle. It's definitely a riddle.
Care to share what that riddle is?
Yeah, get your thinking cap on. The beginning of whenever, the end of ever after, the start of an age, the finale of every moment, the first in history.
Callum sits for a second and just kind of like moves his finger around like he's thinking, oh, so we need to give the crown to Wrath.
Why?
The beginning of whenever. I'm assuming this is in common in your head, yes?
Yeah?
It would be, yeah.
So whenever begins with a W. The end of ever after is an R. The start of an age is A. You see where this is going?
Yeah. You're smart.
So
I've-
it gives you the idea that, like you said, Wrath should get the crown first.
Though it would still likely be beneficial to find, at least, our other. To find where Wrath is, of course.
Well, we have the tower, or perhaps the front door.
Or perhaps there's another tower intersecting with this garden. I don't see an entrance, but it
You
might be
do
worth
see
it.
an entrance actually. It's just 10 feet up. It's on the wall. So it's 10 feet up.
Oh,
So if anybody can, I mean, I'm pretty sure with the ridiculous jumping abilities in D&D, you all can probably jump 10
Yeah, I'll
feet up.
parkour up. Get
vertical
another
jumps
door
are
locked.
hard in 5e.
You know, you guys could just stand on my shoulders.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm gonna run, kick off, and then jump up.
I'm not gonna make you do any like crazy checks for it. It's not that big of 10 feet's not that big of a deal.
And do I see a door?
Yes, there is a door. It looks the same. So there's just a door right here.
Okay,
I
I will unlock it. Well, yeah, I will do my best to unlock it. I should say.
Yeah. If anybody that wants to get up there, I guess I have to move you because there's a wall there that
Yes,
probably won't let
there
you pass.
is.
So I will move. Is everybody gonna go up there?
I'm curious, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see what this here looks
My
like.
last two rolls were a 3 and a 2, and I still got a 19. I like these gloves.
The door actually, as you're going to do that, you realize it's not locked.
I still pretend that I unlock it.
Cool.
See, you guys need me. Oh, guys, I think we found Wrath.
I know that's what I hate about this. So yeah, there you go. If everybody can see it, look at this great artwork.
They
really-
put minimal effort into this fucking thing.
I know it's
Did
ridiculous.
the lion have a picture?
It did.
Okay.
Holy cow, the
There's a
vines
lot of
building
them like
place
this.
up are huge.
So that apparently is a lion. It's a bronze like statue lion thing. But yeah, that I mean, was it really that hard to create a token, guys? Like, anyway, you can see that the tower is filled with hawthorns. At the heart of the thicket, a heart seemingly made of iron stands atop a marble pedestal, pawing at the ground angrily. Strewn around the pedestal are dozens of empty baskets, and it says, as you open the door, "We are Wrath."
Greetings.
I'm gonna take a page out of Caleb's book and bow down and just we are here to help with Zabilna's absence.
let's. Wrath, seeming a bit more temperamental than Envy, uh,
Surprise, surprise.
yes, demands that you all kneel before it.
Drop to a knee.
Callum
Yeah,
will do
Ragnar
so.
would do that.
It
Fine.
seems pleased. And essentially just it goes through and says pretty much the exact same thing that Envy said about placing the crown, turning it into, crown of golden roses. Um, it is not sure which crown should be placed on what, but
Well, right now we have the silver one, right?
yes,
And do we know, like, is it? Did I miss? Is it like placing on the correct one's head that turns it golden?
yes.
That's what I understood.
I think before we put it on anyone's head, we have to use it to unlock the front door.
I believe placing it on the head will unlock the doors.
Gotcha. I misunderstood.
Uh, like still kneeling, Griswold will say, "Would it be all right if one of us approached with a crown, Wrath?"
And it will slowly lower its head.
I will look back at whoever has it and just scoot out of the way.
Here you go.
All right. So you place it on Wrath's head, and in the distance, sort of behind you, Callum can probably actually see it from where he is. This door clacks
We
really
can't see
loud.
because we're behind the wall.
Oh, right.
I mean, I can see it. I'm outside the room.
Yeah. So I will, for the rest of you, I'll just move you over here real quick. So this door unlocks.
Okay.
But yeah, and Ryan, that's fine because this is where we'll stop. So we won't further on once the door open. I just wanted to get to this point before we stopped.